the fans of the Moss Point Tigers are going to make that happen. Along with Warren Central, we have an outstanding crowd. What can you ask for? Good, cool weather. Football is here.
The Tigers were behind us up until about a minute ago. They're now in the locker room putting on the pads and the uniforms for what is the biggest football game this football team has played in the 3 years we've been with them.
Oh, yes, and this is the biggest. This is the first time the Moss Points won 2 state championships. This is the first time that the Tigers have been the home team for the South State Finals, and this is a big game. Biggest game in Jackson County's history, in my estimation.
I talked to Luther Kirkendall before the football game earlier today when I was here in Moss Point. He said a lot of the players admitted to him, yeah, we had a little trouble sleeping last night. These guys are really ready.
They're hyped up. Even the little injuries, the little people that have the nagging injuries, you won't see that bother them too much early tonight. The adrenaline takes over. This is where football players really pump it up and get ready to turn it on.
We usually talk about the offense first. Tonight we're going to talk about the defense first because it's the defense that will decide this football game. To stop number 3, Brian Darden, you've got to play a complete football game.
That's right. I talked to Jerry Alexander and the staff before the ball game, and they're telling me that they're going to play basic Moss Point defense. They're not going to change a whole lot for Darden because they know Rob Morgan, the quarterback, has thrown over 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns this year. Thad Bridges, number 9, a 6'2", 180 receiver. Warren Central comes in here with a lot of versatility to remind you a lot of the Moss Point Tigers.
If you remember Darden last year, he had a good game against the Tigers. Last week he rushed for 150 yards and a touchdown, and they had a fullback who rushed for 50 yards and a touchdown.
Oh, yeah, they have a complete team. They're very well coached. Rob Morgan Sr., the coach, who is also the father of the quarterback, he has his team well disciplined. They're well coached. And you're going to see probably 2 of the best coached teams in the state of Mississippi tonight.
I also saw Houston Cunningham earlier today, and Houston Cunningham told me his job is going to be to follow Brian Darden all over the football field, and that is one of the toughest assignments he'll ever get.
Oh, yeah, but, Brad, I really believe the whole key to tonight's ball game is you have to have good inside defensive play from Ryan Bale, from Tyrone Barnes, and from Brandon Long on the inside along with the linebackers. Then the defensive ends become the second variable. The defensive ends have got to be quick of foot and guard Darden. Darden has a bad habit of hitting in the hole and then darting to the outside. The defensive ends must stay at home tonight.
How good a test was last week's game against Gulfport preparing for tonight's game, the running aspect of it, because Gulfport didn't throw the football?
Well, that's exactly what the Moss Point Tigers would love to happen. That was Jerry Alexander Stack could use that to build upon because they're not going to see a lot of throwing early against Warren Central. Warren Central type of team is going to take what the defense gives them. And if Moss Point shuts the run off, then you'll start seeing them throw the football. And believe it or not, I believe Luke Kirkendall, Jackie McCarthy would love to see Rob Morgan in the pocket throwing the football more so than giving it to Darden and getting a huge yardage.
The big injury update we need to talk about on defense is Kareem Mitchell, number 99. He is going to start, but how much he plays depends on how good his knee feels.
Well, that hyperextended knee is still giving him some problems. I talked to Kathy Boyd, the trainer, again before the ball game, and Kathy is telling me that Kareem can start and he can play. If the adrenaline gets going good, Kareem will suck it up enough to the point of playing a good football game tonight. The hardest time any of the people will have will be the beginning of the third quarter. That's when they go in the locker room, the injuries get cold, and then they have to come out and start over again.
On defense, how big is it playing here at Dantzler Stadium?
Oh, you have your home crowd behind you. In crucial situations, when that crowd gets to hollering defense, that pumps you up just a little bit more in order to make a big play.
All right, let's take a timeout right here. We'll talk about the Moss Point offense here as we prepare for the South State Championship game, which is next here on Tiger Football 94.
If your faithful ride decides to stop on you, then don't despair.
Last week, we should see a better Herman Robbins, at least health-wise.
Well, you saw a fantastic Reginald Hunter last week, and he had his game face on. I have never seen Reginald before a ball game be as serious as he was warming up. Herman was limping just a slight bit, but I think once the game starts, you will see that adrenaline again going and that ankle loosening up, and he'll be able to go.
Last week, the Tigers were predominantly a run football team. I think they only threw the ball 3 times the entire football game. Do we expect to see that offense again, or do you think we'll see the Tigers from earlier in the year throwing the ball?
I think you're going to see a little mixing up a little bit more tonight. I think you're going to see a lot of short passes, the 5 to 7 yard variety to Andre Abrams and to Melvin Jones. They expect Warren Central to come out and lay back some 10 to 12 yards, give the receivers that much cushion. If you get the receivers that much cushion, the speed that the Tigers have, if they can throw a couple of those short passes and it'll loosen that defense up, and the Tigers' offense, the running game will take off.
And we saw really for the first time last week complete domination by the Moss Point offensive line. Spectacular job.
And tonight, Moss Point really should match up a little better because Warren Central has a lot better has a lot of size as well. So it's going to be size and strength more so than quickness as it was having to be Gulfport last week. It's going to be size and strength, and as always, the offensive line is going to be a big key in this ball game.
I'm not going to ask a prediction because you know how both of us are going to rule on this football game. But we want to take a walk. Ty, if you want to join us real quick. This is what the Moss Point Tigers have behind them tonight. It's the crowd. A huge crowd is here at Dantzler Stadium. For the first time ever, the South State Championship game will be played here. It's Moss Point and Warren Central, and it's next on Tiger Football 94.
Is there something wrong with your car? Does it need to be fixed?
All right, that was the Warren Central High School band with the national anthem, and we're waiting now for the captains from both squads to come out on the field for the coin toss, and we'll try to get the mic in here and let you hear what goes on with the coin toss.
As the seniors are honorary captains for tonight's contest.
Hi, Tim Wells. Tim Minor, how you doing? Tim Knight. Tim Davis. All right, I'd like for you to meet the Moss Point captain. Number 17 is Captain Hobart. Number 73 there is Captain Long. Number 9 down there is Captain Abrams. And Captain Crawford is number 75. Y'all shake hands. All right, men, I want to congratulate you. It's been a long time since August. Those two-a-days, congratulations for both of you being here. This is for the South State Championship. I want you to play like champions, and above all, I want you to act like champions. If you happen to be representing your ball club on fouls and you don't understand what happened, I'll try to tell you who it was, and what I think your advantage is, and then you take whatever you want. We flipped the coin before the ball game. Moss Point, you won the toss, deferred to the second half. You'll be defending that end of the field. Warren Central, you'll be receiving the ball on this end. Got any questions? Put your backs to those goals. Moss Point to this one, Warren Central to this one.
The Moss Point Tigers won the toss, deferred to the second half.
All right, you heard what happened here on the field, and we're ready for the South State playoffs here in 5A action. We'll go up to the booth now with Brad Kessie and Jackie Ely. Take it away, fellas.
All right, Mike Charlie, thank you very much. From the middle of the football field, he finds out that the Moss Point Tigers won the toss and deferred to the second half, and so the Tigers will go on defense first, and that's exactly what head coach Jerry Alexander wanted in tonight's football game. Jackie Ely and Brad Kessie in the broadcast booth here at Dantzler Stadium as we get ready for the South State Championship game. This is the biggest game you and I have ever done. And on the football field from the north end, the Warren Central Vikings in their white uniforms with red pants and red helmet come running out on the football field.
For the Moss Point Tigers coming out from the south end zone, and listen to the racket of this crowd, Brad. This is playoff football at its best.
The crowd on its feet as they welcome the Moss Point Tigers wearing their navy blue uniforms with blue pants, white numerals, and of course the navy blue helmet with the MP emblazed on both sides. Moss Point, Warren Central. Last year, Warren Central won in the South State semifinals. That game was at Warren Central, and the final score then was 24-10. We expect a different result tonight. The Tigers have a score to settle with this football team, to say the least.
Well, we looked at the sheets on Warren Central. These teams compare very close in yardage, and they compare very close in the amount of points that they'll score. The only difference is Moss Point's given a little over 123 points, and this Warren Central football team has only given up 79 points and 3 shutouts the last 3 games against Vicksburg, against Ocean Springs, and against Wayne County.
And we did not mention that in the pregame show. This team has not given up a point in 4 games now, and that's something, especially against an Ocean Springs and a Wayne County, the high explosive War Eagle offense. That's something to talk about.
And the way I think that you really are effective against this team is to come out and score something early in the first quarter. If nothing else, it becomes an emotional letdown to that defense, and then you can really capitalize by exploding on them, because they're going to be too busy thinking about the points that were already scored on them. So it's going to be very important that the Tigers score early against Warren Central.
Tiger Football 94 is brought to you by Passport Currency Exchange, Gene Service Center, Metamart Pharmacy, and the Praise the Lord Gospel Show. And Melvin Rowland has the ball teed up at the 40-yard line as the Tigers move from left to right as we begin this football game, south to north. Minster Minor is the deep back for Warren Central. And here's the kick, and we're underway, and it's a high end over edge kick that goes to Minor from the 5-yard line. Minor is a 10, 15, 20, right up the middle is 27, and he's hit and brought down by the Tigers, Darrell Hanford. So it'll be first and 10, Warren Central from the 27-yard line.
Not one of Melvin Rowland's better kicks, but really it's not too bad a situation, 27-yard line. The Warren Central War Eagles, Vikings, are really known to have an explosive offensive running game. But I really expect them to come out and try to loosen Moss Point up by throwing the football.
The quarterback is number 10, Rob Morgan. His backs are David Smith and Brian Darden. They run the I formation set. His receivers, Kevin Prentice and Thad Bridges. And on first down, Morgan under center, and he fakes the handoff to go to the reverse. Going right with running room. Brandon Long chases Prentice, and Prentice dives to the 37-yard line, and that may be a first down.
And that's exactly what we talked about earlier. Sidney Robinson, the defensive end on that side, got caught inside. They're going to try to loosen up this Tigers defense by running the ball outside. They know that Brandon Long, Tyrone Barnes, Ryan Bell, Kareem Mitchell, and Creevy Harness are in the middle. They're going to try to get that ball to the outside tonight to be successful.
It is first and 10 from the 37, and again Warren Central runs in the I formation set. And the pitch is to Darden, and Darden is able to get to the 40-yard line where he was stacked up by Brandon Long, Kareem Mitchell, and 2 other Tigers. A gain on the play of 4 yards, maybe even 5. It'll be second down and 5.
Well, you can see the sprint of Darden on that run. Darden really was hit at the 39-yard line, and he had enough power to get at least 2 more yards. The Tigers have to do a better job of hitting him and stopping him in his tracks. Don't let him get any yards after the initial contact. That's going to be the important part.
Jack, I remember just how impressed we were with Brian Darden in last year's football game. He was a talented running back, and he showed it last year. Second down and 5. Inside handoff is to Darden, who's hit right away and brought down after a 1-yard gain. It was number 73, Brandon Long, who was there to make the tackle along with Todd Davis.
And the important part, again, is going to be for Ryan Bell, I believe, the nose tackle, number 76. Ryan must get penetration into that Warren Central's offensive backfield. He must get back there. You have to stop Darden before he gets started. His main attribute is his takeoff, Brad.
Bell, Tyrone Barnes, and Long are the front 3. On third down, they go right with Darden, and Darden is able to get near the 50-yard line, and that's the first down on the 7-yard gain.
Again, the defensive end got caught to the inside. He tried to make the tackle right at inside. He's got to stay to the outside. That is his responsibility.
It's first and 10 from midfield. The Tigers with their 2 linebackers, Creevy Harness and Kareem Mitchell. The DBs are JB and Datron Williams, and of course Shumpert Holbert and Houston Cunningham are the defensive backs. First and 10 from midfield. for Rob Morgan and the Warren Central Vikings, the opening possession of the South State Championship. And back to pass across the middle, diving attempt is incomplete. It's second down, and he tried to hit his receiver on the right side.
It appeared that was the tight end, and that's a big one, number 99 for the Warren Central Vikings. He's the man they were trying to get the ball to. That's Ivan Martin, the tight end.
Second and 10, the ball sitting at midfield. Tigers defense on the football field first. We're at the 9:24 mark of the first quarter. Inside handoff is to Smith, and Smith is stood up and thrown down after a 1-yard gain, and that was Ryan Bell there to make the tackle, and along with Tyrone Barnes.
Good play inside, and that's the only thing they're going to run Smith for every now and then. Big number 44, the fullback, it is just to loosen up the Tiger defense a little bit. And something I see, Brandon Long is coming out the game. He's holding his left wrist a little bit. Doesn't appear to be anything real major. Melvin Rowland's going in his place.
So Rowland replaces Long on third down and long, 3rd and 8. Two receivers to the near side. There's Thad Bridges and Kevin Prentice, I'm sorry. 3rd and 8. And back to pass Morgan. Morgan has time. He's looking long down the near sideline. He's going for Thad, and he got him inside the 10. Thad Bridges down to the 6-yard line, and now they say incomplete. The officials waited a long time before they finally ruled the pass incomplete. It's 4th down, and the Tigers have forced Warren Central to punt.
That was a good defensive play by Dayton Williams. Even though Dayton was beat, when the ball was thrown, Dayton put his right paw in and just snatched the ball out before he could come down with both feet. Well, at least 1 foot.
David Smith, number 44, is the punter. Back deep, Houston Cunningham and Melvin Jones, number 5, both standing at the 10-yard line. Again, Smith is the running back, so you have to expect anything here on this punting situation. It's a good snap, and Smith will punt it away, and he punts it toward Jones from the 16. Jones going to fake the reverse, cuts it upfield, and no one was faked on that reverse attempt. Tackled at the 17 was Melvin Jones, and so that's where John Armstead and the Moss Point Tigers begin their first possession of this football game, 1st and 10 from the 17.
Well, the important part now for Moss Point is to try to get a couple of first downs, change field position in this ball game. Any good football team, good offensive team scores a lot of points because of field position, and Warren Central right now has that to their advantage. Moss Point needs a couple of first downs to open it up.
Armstead, the junior, is joined by O'Neal Carter and Reginald Hunter in the backfield. And on first down, he is going to throw the football. Throws to the outside, Andre Abram, and he overthrew him at the 25. It's 2nd and 10. It may have been a good thing that he overthrew his receiver.
Well, warming up, John Armstead was throwing ropes on that particular play, and that's exactly what we expected the Tigers to do. On the left sideline, Melvin Jones, I don't know if number 28, the safety for Warren Central, just came off of him quick. That's Alvin King. But I know that it appeared that Melvin Jones had some real estate.
8:04 in the first quarter. First time the Tigers have touched the football, and it's 2nd down 10 on Armstead's first incomplete pass of the night. Again, in the backfield, Carter, who gets the handoff here, and Carter is dropped for a loss. Back at the 14, a loss of 3. Maybe they mark him at the 15, so it's a loss of 2. It's 3rd and 12.
Warren Central just totally outquicked the Moss Point defense in that they didn't fool anyone on that particular play. It's going to take one big run for Moss Point really to loosen them up. Warren Central had a good defensive scheme last year when the Moss Point Tigers played. They just slant the tackles, and what they do is Moss Point normally play big gaps in the offensive line, and that defense is going to try to hit the gaps.
So O'Neal Carter comes down, and we see Herman Robbins for the first time tonight. High formation set for the Tigers on 3rd down and 12 with the ball sitting at the 15. Two receivers to the near side. Armstead will pitch to Hunter. Hunter cuts it up. Hunter's at the 17-yard line. It's a lot of running for 2 yards, maybe 3, and it brings up 4th and 9.
With All-State linebacker number 54, Eric Payne, filled that hole in a hurry. It appeared that Miko Hunter had a lot of real estate ahead of him to be able to break something, but Payne closed that in a hurry. That's what Warren Central, what I understand from them, is they rely a lot on quickness in the linebackers and the defensive ends.
Sean Mims, number 44, is the punter. And Kevin Prentice, is standing at the 48-yard line. The good snap, and Mims, it's blocked. The ball was blocked. It's in the end zone. It goes out of the end zone. It's a safety. And Warren Central has struck first, blocking the Mims punt. And the Vikings lead 2-0.
Well, that's what Warren Central want to do. They realize, and that's coaching a lot of times, not against Morris Point coaching, but that's against that's a plus for the Warren Central coaching that evidently they've been watching films, and the film showed that maybe Sean Mills was a little slow in his delivery. And I'm certain that Jerry Alexander, being a special team coach, he's going to work on that, and he's going to talk to Sean Mills well before he has to go out and punt the football again.
6:34 on the first quarter clock, and the Vikings strike first on the blocked punt. And Warren Central leads Moss Point 2-0.
Baseball's in there. Well, the Tigers, now what the Tigers don't need to do right now is to self-destruct. 2-0 is, just think, any other kind of score Morris Point get, at least this game, they get a state the game is tied to get a field goal, they go up. No one needs to panic at all. It is plenty time in this ball game with 6:34 to go here in the first quarter.
Moss Point fell behind 7-0 last week at Gulfport, but came back to win 16-7. Rowland has it teed up at the 20. And Rowland kicks it high and kicks it toward Minster Minor. No, now it's taken by Marcus Thomas. And Thomas is at the 40, and he's corralled at the 42-yard line. Tiger special team coverage excellent that time. And so Warren Central takes over 1st and 10 from its 42.
Brad, you had an important point a few minutes ago when you said that Gulfport went up. The last 3 games against Pascagoula, Clinton, and Gulfport, the Morris Point Tigers went down first and came back to win. And we really expect the same thing to happen tonight with the type of offense the Tigers have and the good defense that we have.
A full house here at Dantzler Stadium for the South State Championship. Not a seat to be found tonight, and at first down, Morgan will hand off to Darden coming left this time, and Darden cuts it upfield. A flag comes down as Darden gets to the outside, inside the 40. Darden is down to the 37, but we should have a holding penalty that will bring this play back.
Number 83, the defensive end on this side for Morris Point, Todd Davis, was tackled.
Sure enough,
he was tackled.
The referee signals holding against Warren Central.
He was tackled at the line of scrimmage, and it was very obvious. It happened right in front of the official. The umpire hit him right in the head with the flag. Big number 59 was guilty of that flag.
The 10-yard walk-off from the 43 to the 33 makes it 1st and 19, and it negates a run of 21 yards.
Well, that's to that Morris Point, and that's helping field position again. But Morris Point, again, Darden still got to the outside. I don't know if that was because of the holding call or not, but Morris Point has to do a better job of containing them in the backfield. 1st
down, 19, and they fake the handoff this time. Morgan rolls to the right, now throws deep downfield. He's got Prentice open, and Prentice comes back and makes the catch at the 29-yard line. The ball was underthrown, and Prentice was able to adjust and make the catch at the 29. A gain on the play. A long gain on the play. 17-21, 38 yards.
Actually, I think, Brad, it was number 9, Thad Bridges, who came back and made the play. It appeared that the secondary of Morris, he had good coverage. He was beat, but he did come in. He did make up a lot of ground. He just didn't knock the ball away.
1st down for Warren Central from the 29. The handoff to Darden. Darden looks for room. He gets to the outside. 20, 15, 10, 5, and Darden is knocked out of bounds at the 1-yard line. A gain of 28 for Brian Darden running the near side.
The defensive ends again for the Morris Point Tigers got caught inside, and as long as you going inside, there's no way in the world you're going to stop Darden. He is just too fast and too quick and too strong to be able to stop him once he starts getting to the outside.
So at 5:29 and counting, it's 1st and goal to goal. The ball barely outside the goal line. And so Warren Central, already up 2-0, has a chance to put at least 6 more on the board. I formation set. That's what Warren Central runs. Handoff is to Darden, and Darden is in the end zone for a touch, going over the right guard. And at the 5:24 mark, it's now 8-0.
Well, Tigers have not self-destructed yet. They still have to get back into their game plan. They've got to play some good. They really have got to come and try to play some good defense and really come back. Offense, if we turn the defense on right now. The offense come out with this football and drive it and get some points on it. At least get a couple of first downs. That's what's going to be important right now.
Tim Sumrall on to try the point. The soccer-style kicker. Snap down, kick is up. It is good. It was an ugly kick, but he got it through the uprights somehow. So at the 5:24 mark, it's now 9-0.
And I'm certain now the coaching staff just knows what they need to do, and that's to get a good return now, and then to give this offense, Miko Hunter, Herman Robbins, O'Neal Carter, and John Armstead, it's time for them to put this offense on their shoulder and bring it back. If Warren Central wants to be a high-scoring game, then the Tigers just have to score points and go with them.
Tigers unable to do much the first time they touched the football, and the worst part was they had a punt block out of the end zone for a safety, and that's how Warren Central capitalized first and took the momentum away from this Moss Point crowd. Again, a huge crowd here at Gansler Stadium. The far side of the football field filled with Warren Central fans, most of them standing. The band from Warren Central is here. Of course, the Tigers have their share of people on the far side as well, but here on the near side, you can't find many seats as everyone is here to watch this South State Championship. It's a high pooch kick by Sumrall. That's taken by Barnes at the 20. Barnes waits for a block, gets it at the 30, 35, and Barnes spun out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Good return by number 12, Brian Barnes.
Yeah, that was, the Warren Central Vikings know Morris Point speed with Melvin Jones back there running back kicks. So they tried to push kick it. And unlike what he did last week, Brian Barnes called a fair catch. Brian Barnes got the ball and got about a 20-yard return for the Morris Point Tigers. At the 40-yard line, you always love to start your offense possession that far out.
Robbins and Hunter, the I formation set. Wing right is Jones, receiver left Abram, first and 10 Moss Point with better field position at the 40. In motion is Jones. The pitch is to Hunter. Hunter tries the outside. Hunter gets the outside. A flag has come down as Miko crosses the 50 and gets to the 49, but a holding penalty will negate the first down run by Miko Hunter.
That play had doom wrote all on it from the start in that Reginald Hunter. Well, at least John Armstead was a bad snap, or at least Armstead fumbled a snap and he tried to pitch it in. Miko Hunter turned it into a good play, but unfortunately one of the receivers of Morris Point had the old hit in the back, the old clip.
The clipping penalty will push the ball all the way back inside the 30-yard line. In fact, it'll be inside the 25. It'll be spotted at the 22-yard line. And that'll make this a first and 28 for Moss Point.
Well, the point of the foul is where it was marched off from, and that's where it happened in the Moss Point offensive backfield. But we've seen the Tigers come back from a lot worse than this. It's just a matter of Miko Hunter, Herman Robbins turning up the volume and busting through.
Stanton is the receiver wide. Slot left is Melvin Jones. And they try an end around to Jones. The scat back breaks one tackle at the 30, 35, still on his feet. Good run by Jones. He got 13 back. It'll be second down and 15.
Yeah, Melvin Jones had hit the sideline, Brad. I believe we could have had a lot more real estate. It was set up good, but I'm going to tell you, if O'Neal Carter or Herman Robbins, especially with them playing fullback, if they ever bust through the middle, they have a lot of yardage too. Warren Central is crowding the line of scrimmage. The defensive backs are flanked way out on Morris Point's receivers. If he ever get out here, I only have one man to beat.
4:15 counting first quarter, 9-0 Warren Central, second and 15. Draw play Hunter. Hunter has nowhere to go. He lost a yard. Dropped at the 34-yard line and was tackled by big number 78, Keith Neal.
I think if the Tigers keep going where they're going, I think you're going to see them they're going to have to go to the winning game. The throwing game. Have to loosen up the Warren Central Vikings. Warren Central right now is selling out on the run. And the Morris Point Tigers with Andre Abrams, now Brian Barnes in the football game. And Michael Watson right now could become the most important man in the Morris Point offense.
Third down, 16. Back to pass. Armstead being rushed. He throws against his body. The pass is tipped and incomplete. He tried to set up a screen pass to Robbins, but heavy pressure was put on him by Eric Payne, who dropped the quarterback and may have injured John Armstead, who's down holding his wrist back at the 13-yard line.
And you know, John has had wrist problems, even missed a game this year, and we hope that that's not what it is again. But his hand appeared to have gotten caught in the face mask.
4th down, 16. He's holding the right wrist. Mike Crowley is down right there. We'll try to get a report as soon as possible. Mims into punt. And this is a line drive punt. It takes a good bounce for the Tigers. Prentice downs it at the 31. It was not pretty, but it got downfield 36 yards. And so Warren Central will start 1st and 10 from its 31.
Tigers need a good defensive stand this time. John Armstead on the sideline did not want even the trainer, Kathy Boyd, to mess with it. He tried to shake it off, and now she's looking at it right now. Maybe we'll get an injury reported shortly.
1st and 10 for Rob Morgan and Warren Central at the 3:15 mark. Here in the first quarter, and it's 9-0 Warren Central. 1st down handoff is to Smith, who powers up the middle. Finally tackled by Darrell Hanford, but not before he got 6 yards. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 4.
I think Warren Central now is just going to try to play good basic football. They're going to try to play good offensive basic football. Don't make a turnover down in this area of the field to get the Tigers any momentum. Right now, the Hellmores Point somewhat reeling right now, and they have to try to. That's all they want to do right now, Brad. It's going to come out.
2nd down, 4, I formation, pitch to Darden. Darden tries the right side. He's hit, fights forward, gets knocked out of bounds at the 40, at the yard short of the 1st down.
But what you saw then is Darrell Hanford, the defensive end on that side, number 95, he stayed at home. And once he stayed at home, it just piled everything up right there, and it allowed Darden to not get the 1st down. He got a couple yards, but that's not like the 15, 18-yard runs we've been seeing.
3rd down and almost 2 yards to go for Warren Central. 2:29 here in the first quarter of a 9-0 football game. The Tigers crowd the line. Darden, the handoff. Darden fights for the 1st down and will not get it. Todd Davis was 1 of 4. Tigers there to stop Brian Darden, a yard short of the 1st down. Kareem Mitchell and Brandon Long also get off the pile. No gain. It'll bring up 4th down.
But who made that play was number 6, Dayton Williams. He just shot in there from his cornerback position, and he disrupted that play from the start.
Mike Crowley on the football field with an injury report on John Armstead. Mike, go.
Jackie, I don't know if you saw, but when John Armstead went back and got sacked a few minutes ago, his right throwing hand, his thumb, got caught in the face mask of the guy that sacked him, and he seems to be okay. He was up throwing when the defense was on the field, and he is back into the ball game.
All right, thanks, Mike. Short punt by Smith. Went out of bounds at the 49-yard line of Warren Central. So the Tigers start in fantastic field position at the 145 mark. 1st and 10 from the Warren Central 49-yard line.
And Brad, Melvin Barkham is in at quarterback for the Tigers.
The sophomore, the southpaw, Melvin Barkham, number 8. Carter and Hunter are his backs. And on 1st down, he's going to hand off to Hunter. Hunter tries the right side. He fights forward. Brian Darden was there to make the tackle. Then the ball came loose. As he fought for yardage, the ball came loose at the 45. They unpile and say Tiger football.
Well, good determined running by Reginald Hunter inside, because he could have been hit right at the line of scrimmage, but he fought for those 3 hard yards.
We'll even give him 4 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and a long 6 yards to go. And Robbins checks back in, and O'Neal Carter comes out. So Armstead is sitting on the bench, and Kathy's doing what she can to try to get him back in playing shape. And on 2nd down, the handoff is to Hunter, trying the left side. And Hunter puts his head down and gets down to the 43-yard line. He picked up 2, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 4.
But as long as you're getting positive yardage, eventually the type of explosive running backs that the Tigers have, eventually someone is going to break something. Brad, just before Melvin Barker went in on the punt, I was watching John Armstead, and he was throwing the football on the sideline. Did not appear to be having a lot of problems, but They're working on him now, the medical staff of the Tigers.
Tigers at the Warren Central 43, 3rd and 4 with 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. Barkham under center. The handoff is to Robbins. Robbins puts his head down, and Robbins gets very close to the first down. He's at the 39. Depending on the spot, he may have the first.
Well, I'm really the official on that side, and I'm not down on the official, but he came in and made a spot, then he looked at the yard marker, and then he marked it again. Did you see it?
Yeah, but he actually gave the Tigers an extra half step.
Well, after he moved in, he marked it, and I'm certain this is a 4-down territory, whether it's a first down or not. This is not a first down. Morse Point is less. It'll be less, just inches from the first down.
It is about a half a football short. And so on 4th down, the Tigers will go for it.
That big offensive line needs to get into this game and take over the football game.
Crowd makes some noise. Moss Point goes 2 tight ends. Correction, they have the wing right with Stanton receiver left. Split back set for Barkham at the final 15 seconds of the first quarter. He hands off to Robbins. Robbins first down as he gets down to the 37-yard line. A gain of 3 for the senior.
Brandon, in all probability, that's going to be the last play of the first quarter, but that's what Morris Point needed. They came out and they got him a first down. Once you get one first down, it seems as though that can just start mushrooming into something big.
And so that's how the first quarter will come to an end. The score here is Warren Central 9, Moss Point 7, but the Tigers are on the prowl, and they'll have it 1st and 10 from the Warren Central 37. This is Tiger Football 94 on Salmon's Cable Channel 13 and AM 1580 WZZJ. For Barkham, who is behind center, as we still see John Armstead sitting on the bench in front of us. And Barkham will drop back the pass. He slips, and now he'll go down in the huge arms, once again, of Keith Neal. The sack back to the 44-yard line. It's a loss of 8.
If Morris Point's going to throw the ball with Melvin Barkham early, I think they really need to throw the ball short. They need to try to throw the ball short, cause some kind of short patterns, to at least Melvin Barkham gets his confidence up. Right now, I can see a very dejected John Armstead. He's sitting on the bench by himself, and I know this is not how John Armstead wanted this ball game to go.
It's 2nd down, 18. The ball at the 45-yard line. Barkham, when he dropped back that time, slipped as he got to about the 42, and that spelled doom for him on that play. 2nd down, they're going to try and end around, and Jones gets to the outside. Jones 40. Jones down inside the 30 to the 28-yard line, and that's 1 yard short of the first down.
Good ball handling by the sophomore Melvin Barkham, but now the Tigers again are in 4-down territory. Don't need to do anything fancy, just keep getting what you can get. That's the only thing you need to do, and that little end around with Melvin Jones has been the most successful play the Tigers have had tonight so far.
2 carries, 30 yards for Melvin Jones. It's 3rd down 1, the ball just inside the 29-yard line. And the Tigers will run split backs here with Hunter and Robbins right behind Barkham. Snap, and they have miscommunication on the handoff, and dropped for a loss back to the 31 was Reginald Hunter. Kevin Ford got in and disrupted that play, but either the quarterback or the running back was on the wrong page. It was a loss of 2.
Well, Melvin Barkham doesn't get a lot of snaps in practice with the first team, even though he gets snaps, and that probably is what contributed more to that play than in the defense, because Reginald Hunter did have a hole. I think everybody in the stands expected Herman Robbins to get the football on that, because he did get a first down in a simple situation the last series of downs.
4th down 4, Tigers go for it at the 9:50 mark of the second quarter. Barkham has Carter and Hunter behind him in the split back set. And before the snap, Barnes went in motion, a defensive lineman jumped, and an offensive lineman moved.
And the defensive lineman actually jumped first.
It will be offside against Warren Central, and the penalty will give the Tigers a first down.
Yeah, that's, people say, well, the offensive man jumped. Yes, he did. But if you are enticed to jump by the defense, then the call in high school football goes against the defense. The Tigers are slowly but certainly moving the ball back into scoring range. Now, it'll be very important now to get something on the board on this drive, and if nothing else, that'll break up the monotony that this doggone Warren Central defense has had for the last 4 weeks.
26-yard line, 1st and 10, I formation, Moss Point. Pitch to Hunter. Hunter cuts it up. Hunter at the 20, still on his feet, 15, 10, and out of bounds at the 8-yard line. 16 yards for Miko Hunter and a Tiger first down.
And Brad, I think good news is about to happen because I see John Armstead warming up, throwing the football, does not appear to be having any pain at all. And you wouldn't substitute him right now, but right now, as long as Melvin Barkham is moving the football team, you let him stay.
Mike Crowley will tell us. Mike, go ahead.
Physical therapist Dave Wilkins, and he said it was okay for the quarterback to go back into the game whenever we're ready for him, so he has got the okay to go back into the game.
On 1st and goal, Hunter gets from the 8 down to the 2, give him 6. And after an 18-yard run, he gets 6 more, and it's 2nd and goal.
That's good determined running, and you can see the offensive line picking it up just a little bit on that side, on the left side. You had Joseph Crawford and Alexander Jackson and Samson Cree on that left side leading the surge from the offensive line.
The ball is spotted just inside the 3. It is 2nd and goal. The goal. I formation set. Robbins and Hunter, the backs. Hand off to Robbins. Robbins is hit, spun down. He lost a yard. It'll bring up 3rd down and goal. Tackled by Antonio Peoples, number 72.
Well, if nothing else, the Tigers are in field goal range right now. Some people may say we need a touchdown, but remember, field goal and a touchdown in the extra point will put the Tigers up by 1. So you're really in a situation right now to try to get the point. Any points that you can are valuable.
Substitutions for the Tigers. Barnes and Stanton come in along with O'Neal Carter. The fullback on this 3rd and goal from just inside the 5 at the 8:11 mark of the 2nd quarter. High formation behind Barkham. Barkham pitches to Hunter. Hunter puts his head down. Hunter fights for yardage, and they mark Hunter at the 2-yard line. It'll bring up 4th and goal. And what will Jerry Alexander do?
Well, I think you have to go for the field goal. I don't think there's any doubt about it right now. You go for the field goal.
And in comes Melvin Rowland to try what amounts to an extra point. It will be a 20-yard field goal attempt.
Not a real sharp angle, Brad, but it is a little angle that is not straight ahead. So that's why it's so important now that William Nettles has a good snap and Andre Abrams a good hold.
The angle is left to right. Good snap. Rowland puts it down, and he puts a foot right through, but it was wide left, so it wasn't right through. At 7:14 in the 2nd quarter, the 20-yard field goal is wide left.
Big play. That takes a lot of the momentum back from the Morris Point Tigers and just push it right back over there with the Warren Central Vikings. But the Tigers did move the football. That's what you must remember. And don't forget, last week, Melvin Rowland did. He had another field goal that dripped off to the left just a little bit, and the Tigers still came back.
Tigers had the ball for almost 7 minutes and come away with nothing. Now it's 1st and 10 from 20-yard line. And on 1st down, the handoff is to Darden. Darden tries the right side of his line and gets 6 out to the 26. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
But the Tigers really need a good defensive stand this time. Turn the football over. Really need a turnover this time. That would be the thing that really can turn this football crowd and this football team back on.
Tiger Football 94 is brought to you by Passpoint Currency Exchange, Gene Service Center, Metamart Pharmacy, and the Praise the Lord Gospel Show. 2nd down 4, I formation set for Rob Morgan and the Warren Central Vikings. The ball's at the 26-yard line. And Morgan will fake the handoff to the fullback, goes to Darden, and Darden is hit by Kareem Mitchell and thrown down for no gain. It's 3rd and 4.
You know who made that play, Brad? Number 97, the defensive end, Donzel Bolton. Donzel Bolton was in there so quick and played his position that he made Darden have to turn the ball back to the inside. And that's where Kareem Mitchell was there. And that's the way you play the defense to contain him, is the defensive ends do not let him get outside, and the inside people be there for the stick.
We're halfway through the 2nd quarter of the South State Championship here from Moss Point Dantzler Stadium. And the score is Warren Central 9, Moss Point nothing. The Tigers just missed a 20-yard field goal, their first scoring chance of the night. 3rd and 4, pitch to Darden coming near side. Darden with his juke step, and he gets the first down out to the 32. Boy, he put a move on Shumpert Holbert as he faked him out of his shoes.
He did that, but the defensive end, again, is the one who got burnt. Morris Point's got to get good defensive, got to stay at home on the defensive inside and force the ball back to the inside.
1st and 10, the ball is at the 33-yard line. 5:50 to go in the second quarter. By the way, if you haven't noticed, Frida Johnson is in the booth, and she's as intense as we've seen her all season long. I formation for Morgan from the 33. And he fakes the handoff inside. He's being rushed, and he's sacked by Carlos Ware back at the 25-yard line. A loss of 8.
Again, Carlos Ware made the hit, made the stick to stop it, but the defensive end, again, Donzel Bolton is the one that contained Morgan. As long as you can keep the quarterback in that pocket and don't give him all day to throw the football, then the speed of this Morris Point Tiger defense is going to eventually slow Brian Morgan down.
2nd down and 18. First time tonight Warren Central has been in a 2nd and long situation. Ball sits at the 25-yard line. I formation, it's Smith and Darden. 2 receivers to the left. Bridges and Prentice, and the pitch is to Darden going left. Darden tries to fight through a hole, but he's brought down at the 27-yard line, and he was tackled by Tyrone Barnes, number 93.
Well, I don't want to keep belaboring the point again, but again on that end, Donzel Bolton again, number 97, he turned it to the inside. He fought all of the blockers that were coming. There were 2 blockers on Bolton, but he refused to let Darden get to the outside.
So it's 3rd down now, and the ball is at the 27-yard line. To make is the 43. 3rd and 16. And again, Jackie, as you said, John Armstead warming up in front of us, and it looks as though he'll come back in on the next series. Morgan can throw, but he's going to hand off to Darden. Darden leaps over one tackler, and then is brought down by Brandon Long at the 34-yard line. Creevy Hornets was also there. Gain on the play of 7, but it's 4th down.
But I can see why this young man is the number 2 rated running back in this country. Brian Darden is a fine running back because when he's hit, he very seldom gets hit and gets knocked backwards. He gets hit and comes forward.
We can use another bad kick by Smith here. He's standing at his 21. And Smith this time gets a good punt away. Sails to the 35-yard line where it's muffed twice. The ball is loose, and the Tigers are able to recover back at the 15-yard line. So the Smith punt that was actually at about the 25 is finally recovered at the 15. Great kick by number 44.
And that was going to be the reverse that time. Houston Cunningham was going to get that football. You can rest assured they were setting the picket line up right in front of the Morris Point bench then. But John Armstead is back at quarterback for the Morris Point Tigers, and hopefully that little rest got him enough he got his composure where he can come back and drive this football team down the field and get some points.
It is 1st and 10 from the 16-yard line. Tigers run I formation. And Armstead will fake the handoff. He drops back the pass. He throws across the middle. Oh, he had the ball right in the hands of Michael Watson, who dropped it at the 37. It's 2nd and 10.
You can't ask for a better pass than that. He hit him right between the 8 and the 7. John Armstead threw a rope, and it hit Michael Watson right between the 8 and the 7.
2nd down and 10. Armstead is obviously fine. Whatever was wrong with his right wrist doesn't seem to be bothering him now. Andre Abrams splits out wide right. Slot right will be Melvin Jones. I formation, 2nd down, 10. The Tigers will fake the handoff again. This time it's a little swing pass that was knocked down at the line of scrimmage. They tried to throw the ball to Jones, but the big defensive line was there to bat it away. It's 3rd and 10.
I believe you're going to see Morris Wayne going to be able to be successful by trying to get the football and throw it to the running back. Miko Hunter right now is being shadowed, but I tell you, Miko Hunter on the same pattern like that, if he could play out here and get one-on-one coverage the way he's been running the football lately, I don't think Warren Central will be able to really stop him with one person.
3rd down and 10. Abram comes split near side. Melvin Jones split out wide right, split back set for Armstead. And Armstead will drop back the pass. He sets up a screen pass to Hunter. Hunter's going to try to break a tackle, but he had two guys all over him at the 10-yard line. It's a loss of 6, and it brings up a 4th and 16.
Not what the Tigers needed to go backwards. They wanted to go forward and tried 3 pass plays on that. But really, the first one was perfect. Hitting Michael Watson between the 8 and the 7 would have really gotten them on the run then. They would have got on the Warren Central would have been on the run had that pass been completed.
And now Mims is in to punt, and he's going to be punting from his goal line. Prentice is deep, and he's only standing at the 40. No rush this time, and Mims gets a low punt away that bounces to 32. It's fielded at the 39 by Prentice. He had a full head of steam, and he gets to the 32-yard line, where it will be 1st and 10 Warren Central. Great field position at the 2:19 mark of the second quarter.
Well, this Tiger defense is where you have to stand up and be counted. Now, the team, Warren Central, is starting this football at Morris Point's 32-yard line. You need a big defensive play. It's time for that defense to create a turnover. On the stat sheets, I see where Brian Darton has fumbled the football 10 times this year, lost 8 of them. This could be one big one now, tackle the football.
1st and 10, 32-yard line. Again, I formation is what Warren Central runs. It's Smith and Darden. They fake handoff on 1st down, and Morgan is looking to throw, but he's hit, and Morgan goes down. Back at the 42-yard line, sacked by Terrell Hanford, a loss of 10.
You see the defensive end play. As long as the defensive end plays good penetration like that, you can't ask for too much more than that. And they were trying to get the Biff, and they were looking for Thad Bridges, but the pressure from Darrell Hanford and Brandon Long from the inside was the key then in order to stop in that pass play.
And at the 1:43 mark of the second quarter, Warren Central burns its first timeout. It's 2nd down and 20. At the 43 of Moss Point, it's 9-0 Warren Central if you're just joining us. The Vikings blocked the Tiger punt, and it went out of the end zone for a safety, and it was 2-0. On the ensuing kick, they went 3 plays, 58 yards, and got in the end zone on a 1-yard run by Brian Darden. 2 big plays in that drive, a long 38-yard pass from Rob Morgan to his receiver, Thad Bridges, and then a 28-yard run by Darden, who got it down to the 1.
Tigers need at least one more big defensive play like that, throwing for a huge loss. But right now, Warren Central has to go over 20 yards for at least for a 1st down. Need good defensive pressure, but they cannot go to sleep with Thad Bridges, number 9. He is a class sprinter, has great hands, good size, and he's going to be lined up probably our best coverage back, JB.
Jonathan Bailey does have Bridges right in front of us. Prentice is also to the near side, and they have a 3rd receiver left. They hand off to Smith on 2nd down, and Smith runs into Tyrone Barnes. May have gotten a yard, and that's it, and it's 3rd down and 19.
Good defensive play again, inside. The Tigers have to keep that good inside pressure, because as long as Smith can't do it, eventually the linebackers can start cheating a little bit toward Darton a little bit. They can not look so much for the fullback in the dive play, but they can look more for Darton.
You'll agree the Tiger defense has made the adjustments and has played good football since the 3-play, 58-yard drive.
All except that one big run that Brian Darton had. The Tigers have played good defense.
3rd down, 19. Morgan is going to throw long. Williams has got a look, and he doesn't. Bridges catches it at the 10. 5, touchdown, Warren Central, as Morgan trucked back 2 steps and just heaved it down the left side, and he hit Bridges in stride.
Just got beat. Morris Point had the coverage that they wanted. They had the pressure. Morgan didn't do anything fast. He just threw the old fade pattern, and Bridges ran under it, and that was expected. You know that Bridges coming into the night had 10 touchdown catches, and you knew that in crucial situations he was going to be the receiver that Warren Central was going to go to.
56 seconds remaining in the second quarter, and Morgan on the bad snap is going to have to try to throw for it, and it's incomplete. And so the Tigers are down 15-0, but you talk about a backbreaker at the end of a half. That may have been it.
Yeah, early in this ball game, that's still a half to go, but I'm going to tell you, that was a big play then, in that would have brought a 4th down, and the Tigers would have gotten the ball back.
Moss Point goes in 9-0 and gets the ball to start the second half. Moss Point's in the football game, but now down 15. They need 2 touchdowns and 1 2-point conversion to get back in it.
And Moss Point has the team to do it with. They have an explosive offense. And what's happened lately with Moss Point has been that the Tigers have been able to have some big plays from the special teams. And now this is when Melvin Jones and Houston Cunningham needs to make a big play for the special teams.
Rob Morgan threw a beautiful pass there, and Thad Bridges just ran under it. I mean, the ball was right there. 4-6.
And there was nothing fancy. It was just the old fade pattern, and Morgan threw it out there, threw it high, and Bridges came over for the catch.
Summerall on to kick it off. Jones is deep along with Cunningham. 56 seconds ago, and again it's a pooch kick. And it sails toward the 25-yard line, and it goes out of bounds there. And so the Tigers will start 1st and 10 from the 35 at the 56-second mark.
And you can rest assured that John Armstead can throw the football. Andre Abrams and Melvin Jones can go get it. We know that Warren Central is going to be playing in the somewhat of a prevent. So the only thing the Tigers really do now is to look down the middle. They still have 3 timeouts. They're going to try to guard against the deep pass. So the receivers down the middle should be open, especially the tight end or the running back coming out the backfield.
The Tigers will send 3 receivers, so they'll run the click. 3 receivers right in front of us, and Michael Watson lines up wide to the right. Hunter is the only back on 1st down. And on 1st down, the pass to Abram, 35. Abram makes a move, 40, and Abram is able to get out of bounds, which is important at the 42. It's a gain of 7.
Well, Brad, I've seen this happen in practice where they'll line up in that, fake it that way, and flat a running back out to the side of the one receiver and try to get one-on-one coverage with either Miko Hunter or Herman Robbins.
It's 2nd down 3. The ball's at the 42-yard line. 50 seconds ago in the 2nd quarter, Warren Central 15, Moss Point nothing. Again, the click comes left, and this time Melvin Jones is your receiver right. Again, Hunter is your only back. They fake the handoff to Hunter. They throw it out to Jones. Jones 45, 50. Jones with his speed, 45, still on his feet, 40. And Jones is down at the 38. He fumbled the football. The Tigers had it and then lost it. And the Tigers now have fallen on it at the 38-yard line. Eddie Stanton made a huge Tiger recovery with 34 seconds on the clock.
And the Tigers definitely need to call a timeout. I don't know if they did or not, or they did.
That was an interesting play, but it picked up 19 yards.
I tell you, and Andre Abrams tried to scoop it up, and had he picked it up on the first scoop, he had a touchdown. There was nobody left for Warren Central in the secondary. They were all converging on Melvin Jones.
1st and 10 with the ball sitting at the 39-yard line.
But Bill Lee's in with his offense right now, and Jerry Alexander is signaling for someone to possibly come out. Oh, he's trying to get his speedy receivers in the football game right now. That means Melvin Jones, Eddie Stanton, Brian Barnes, and Andre Abrams, along with Miko Hunter in the backfield. That's the speed patrol there.
34 seconds on the clock. If you're watching us on Salmon's Cable Channel 13, you see the score. It's 15-0. The Vikings lead the Tigers as we come down to the final seconds of the 2nd quarter. Moss Point has moved the football in this game. The Tigers had one drive that ended on the 2-yard line, and then the Tigers missed a field goal, and now the Tigers in business again, 1st and 10 from the 39.
And it's very important that Moss Point that they get something on the board before the end of this half. It's very important. Even a field goal is important right now.
This time the Tigers run the click to the right with Melvin Jones coming split near side. Again, Hunter is the only back for John Armstead, who drops back and he flares it out to Hunter. It's incomplete. It's 2nd and 10. And once again, that was a play that was going to go nowhere. And if anything, Willie E. Johnson could have taken that ball 70 yards for a touch.
Well, the problem with that is that the offensive line did not stop penetration at all. Big number 72 for Warren Central was in the backfield, and John Armstead actually had no time. Antonio Peoples was in the backfield so quick, and he didn't have any time to set that up.
Moss Point has 2 timeouts left here in the first half, and they run the click to the right, 3 receivers. And they run the ball this time to Hunter, and that didn't fool anybody. No gain on the play, and the Tigers will burn a timeout with 24 seconds remaining. No gain on the play.
Well, you've been successful throwing the football, and they tried to fool them with just a little quick inside trap in, and the Warren Central, again, we say they're very well coached in playing defense. It appears that they knew Morris Point tendencies on that particular play, and they just stayed at home.
The one thing about the Warren Central defensive front, it's the first time that you see men out there that match up pretty well against the Moss Point offensive line.
Yeah, size-wise, and that makes a big difference because, you know, if you're big and slow, that's one thing, but Warren Central is not big and slow. They're big and quick, and they play their positions very well. The Tigers' offensive line definitely in the second half is going to have to pick up the line play. You pick up the line play, everything else will improve around it.
Again, we remind you, Warren Central has not given up a point in now 3.5 quarters. Well, coming up on 3.5 games. Not quarters, 3.5 games. 3rd and 10. Armstead back, 3-step drop. He throws to the outside. Abram with the catch. He spins down to the outside. Now cuts it back inside, and Abram is down inbounds at the 33-yard line. Tigers will burn a timeout with 13 seconds to go. It will be 4th and 5.
You're getting a click offense. If you throw it short, that you're playing somewhat into the defensive hands, and that they have 3 defensive backs and a linebacker over there. You need to try to spring at least one of them long in that particular set. Maybe fake that and then hit somebody on a long pattern.
You'd like to see them go back to, I know Watson's not in the game, but he was wide open across the middle of the field, 20 yards down.
Yeah, you may do that with one of the other receivers that you have out here in this click offense, and that, or even circle the running back down the middle. To me, Miko Hunter has great hands. He's been open on a lot of passes this year, caught several touchdown passes. I believe that he would be the one right now, and I just believe right now Miko Hunter is the one that can bring the Morris Point Tigers back. Not by himself, but he can be the big inspiration to do it.
But now the Tigers have 2 problems facing them. It's 4th and 5, that's one. And secondly, if they get a first down inbounds, the Tigers have no timeout. Armstead looks over the defense. 3 receivers left. Armstead will hand off to Hunter. Hunter is at the 25-yard line, and the Tigers have 8 seconds, and the clock is stopped for the first down, and so they'll have to down it immediately.
Well, they're trying to get set at the line of scrimmage. That's the advantage of the
7, 6, 5. Armstead fires it incomplete. 3 seconds to go. And I believe Melvin Rowland may come on.
That's right. You might as well try it. You don't have anything at all to lose, and we know Melvin Rowland has a good foot.
The 9-yard gain was by Hunter, and it was a first down.
And Warren Central has called a timeout, so that'll give Morris Point just a little bit more time to get settled. This can be a big field goal here. Any points that Morris Point gets now will be big points in order to start the second half.
Again, the Tigers will get the ball first to start the second half, and so if the Tigers put 3 points on the board here, they'll only need 12 to get back into this football game. It's 15-0 Warren Central in the South State Championship game. Last year, Warren Central beat Moss Point 24-10 in the South State semifinals.
But Jerry Alexander, who is a special team coach, along with his duties as head coach, is out talking to his troops right now about this field goal, just trying to get them to relax, get a good snap, telling Melvin to relax. We need the points, and Melvin has the leg to do it.
It will be a 42-yard field goal attempt. It's right down the middle of the football field. Andre Abram is the holder, and William Nettles the center.
I'm just looking at it. I don't know if that's a drain right behind Andre Abrams' foot or what, but it's a little white piece of something sticking there, and I hope it's not something they can slip on.
And now Warren Central will burn its final timeout. So the final 3 seconds of the first half extended just a little bit longer.
I don't believe Warren Central knows that they're trying to ice Melvin Rowland. I don't think they know that they're dealing with a close to, I think, a straight-A student and someone that's made 32 on the ACT. I'm not certain it was 32, but I heard that from the grapevine. I know it was a high 20s if it wasn't a 32.
The Moss Point Tigers and Warren Central on the football field. The Tigers have Melvin Rowland, number 77, to try a 42-yard field goal. We have no wind tonight, so wind will not play a factor. And Roland, who we've seen kick the ball out of the end zone from the 40 on the other side of the field. You know he's got the leg, and he showed it on the first field goal that he just happened to leave a little left under the angle to the right. This one, though, is right down the middle. And we're set. Good snap. The kick is long enough, and it is no good. And again, Melvin Rowland missed it to the left. And so we're at halftime here at Dantzler Stadium in the South State Championship game. And your score at the half is Warren Central 15 and Moss Point nothing. Halftime activities are next. This is Tiger Football 94 on Salmon's Cable Channel 13 and AM 1580 WZZJ. Broadcast booth at halftime here at Dantzler Stadium. The score is Warren Central 15 and Moss Point nothing. Wanted to show you what they're playing for tonight. This is the Mississippi High School Activity Association South Mississippi's Champion Trophy for 1994, sponsored by Farm Bureau Insurance. This is what the two teams are fighting for tonight. Of course, next week in the Class 5A football championship up in Jackson. An 11 o'clock kickoff next Saturday at Memorial Stadium. Now let's go over to Frida Johnson, who has our halftime stats. Frida?
It's Warren Central. Darden, 12 carries for 66 yards, 1 touchdown. Smith, 3 carries, 9 yards. Prentice, 1 carry, 10 yards. Morgan, 2 carries, minus 18 yards. Morgan, 2 of 4 passing, 80 yards, 1 touchdown. Warren Central had 5 first downs. Moss Point, Hunter, 10 carries, 42 yards. Robbins, 3 carries, 5 yards. Jones, 2 carries, 30 yards. Carter, 1 carry, minus 2 yards. Markham, 1 carry, minus 8 yards. Armstead, 4 of 10 passing, 24 yards. Moss Point had 6 first downs and missed 2 field goals.
All right, Frida, thank you. I want to get a plug in right here. Number 50, Chauncey Johnson on the football field. He was barking at his teammates, getting them going, trying to get this football team back in a game that they're down at halftime 15-0. And Jackie Ellie, this drive right here is probably the telling drive of the football game.
That could be the season, Brad. You have to come out in the start of the second half, and you must put something on the board. Warren Central's been kicking the ball away from the Moss Point deep people all night, and with that, what's going to probably happen, though, Markham should get good field position.
David Smith is in instead of Sumrall to kick it away, and he does, and he kicks it to Melvin Jones, and Jones will take it from the 5, and here we go in the second half of the Tigers down 15-0, and Jones with his speed is to the outside. Jones at the 35, and is down at the 39-yard line, and the Tigers will have it. First and 10. So Warren Central decided to go after Melvin Jones, and it almost backfired. A penalty flag is down where the ball carrier Jones was brought down, and it is a personal foul penalty against the Vikings. And so right off the bat, the Tigers get a huge break.
Well, exactly what you wanted is to come out, get good field position, and penalty sometimes knock a lot of momentum off of you. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the first penalty of the night against the Warren Central Vikings. So the second had an offside penalty. But Moss Point needs to capitalize. Get back. You don't need to score quick. Just score. That's the main thing now.
Tigers first and 10, 46-yard line. We've just begun the second half. 15-0 Warren Central. First down handoff is to Robbins, and Robbins is able to turn his body and get across the 45 and down to the 43-yard line. A pickup of 3, and it's second down and 7, and that's how we begin the second half.
Well, unlike last week, you can see a little bit more explosiveness in Scooter Robbins' first step. He took off really quick. I think the key to this ball game right now is for the offensive line to start dominating the defensive line of Warren Central.
Wing right is Melvin Jones, split back set. And the handoff again is to Robbins, and they were waiting for Robbins that time. It was Antonio Peoples who grabbed him for a 1-yard loss.
Tried to fool him again, just tried to bust Scooter Robbins, and that's a good thought. If Scooter Robbins or whoever's playing in the middle of the backfield, if he'll ever take off straight or can bust through there. But what's happening is that the Warren Central people are just stunting at the line of scrimmage. Exactly what they did last year. They continually to stunt in order to disrupt the blocking tactics of the Moss Point Tigers.
Andre Abram is split right in front of us. Third down and 8. Wing left is Jones. Armstead will drop back. He fakes 2 handoff. Armstead steps up in the pocket. He throws deep downfield. He tried to throw the post pattern to Abram, but he missed him by a good 5 yards. Then it brings up 4th down.
Well, Brad, I think you punt the football. It doesn't appear that Morris Wayne is looking to punt the football, but I think you punt the football and try to change field position and hope something happens good for you by stopping them deep in the territory.
The Tigers, it appears, will go for it on 4th and 8. So Moss Point gets a huge break, a good return by Melvin Jones, a penalty that puts the ball into Warren Central territory, but the Tigers have only been able to go 2 yards on their first 3 plays, and Moss Point will go for it on 4th down and 8. You talk about big plays. This would be considered one. 2 receivers to the near side. Tight end Watson is to the left. Robbins and Hunter in the backfield, and the pitch is to Robbins, trying to run for the first down, and Robbins is thrown for a 5-yard loss, and he was tackled on the play by Kevin Ford. It'll be 1st and 10 for Warren Central.
The Morris Point Tigers had an opportunity. They had a golden opportunity, did not take advantage of it, and now it's really time for this defense. It's time for the defense to come alive, even to the point, look for the defense to score up some points.
If that's the play they were going to run, Jackie, they should have punted the football.
You're absolutely correct.
1st and 10 now, Warren Central from the 48-yard line. They start with a handoff up the middle to the fullback, and the fullback is down to the 35-yard line. That was Terry Williams, the first time we've called his name in this game, and Williams goes for 17 yards.
And that was just that straight dive up the middle. Morris Point all night has been looking for Dart, and they've stopped Smith, but you could tell that Williams, the fullback, is a lot quicker than what David Smith is, and he just got that first quick burst, and when he got in the secondary, he ran for big yardage.
And all of a sudden, Warren Central is the team that with the good field position, 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. Darden is the deep back. Terry Williams the up back, and they hand to Darden going right. Darden is being chased. Darden goes against the grain now. All sorts of Tigers around him, and somehow, some way, Ryan Darden got back to the line of scrimmage.
Is he a good running back? Is he a good running back, Brad? But I tell you, the Tigers they strung it out pretty good that time. They contained Darden. That's the first time tonight that he hadn't really been able to dart to the outside.
Todd Davis has come out of the game. Apparently something wrong with his left arm. He's replaced in the lineup by Donzel Bolton. It'll be 2nd down 10 from the 35-yard line. 9:03 and counting. 3rd quarter, 15-0 Warren Central. The Tigers have missed now on 3 golden opportunities. And Morgan is back to pass. He rolls, and now he throws a fade pattern deep down the sideline. And Prentice catches it for a touchdown over Jonathan Bailey. Touchdown, Warren Central, on a beautiful catch by Kevin Prentice.
Well, Warren Central just came out, and they just threw the same type pattern they've been throwing all night. Nothing fancy, just using the speed and the height, running down the field, and just floating it. Morris Point defensive players are just getting caught up tight.
Summerall on to try the point. He missed his last one. It was a bad snap, and so they tried to throw for it. It was very quiet here at halftime. We didn't have any bands on the football field, and now the Tiger fans are about as stunned as they were at halftime.
Especially after coming out to start the second half and get good field position and then don't capitalize on it. But that's where the field position can kill you. In that after a big defensive play, they gave Warren Central the ball about midfield, and Warren Central didn't have to go that far with the type of personnel that they have.
8:46 to go in the 3rd, and now it's 22-0. And now you see some of the Tigers showing some dejection on the football field for the first time tonight.
Yeah, they're talking to each other. They need to just keep composure, because I'm going to tell you what, Brad, 22-0 is not an insurmountable lead. 22-0 is 3 touchdowns and at least 1 2-point conversion. This ball game can be tied up. The Tigers, though, have to keep their composure, and someone has got to step forward and make a big play. Someone has got to take control of this football game for the Morris Point Tigers.
Summerall will be kicking. Summerall, every time he's kicked, has pooched the ball. Expect him to do it again. And he does. It's high and very short. And it is caught, stolen by Warren Central. Penalty flag comes down. The Warren Central Vikings recover what amounts to an onside kick, but there are flags down.
Well, it's interfered to catch the ball. Since the ball was in the air, then that has to be a penalty against Warren Central. Had the ball hit the ground, it could have been Warren Central's ball. But what Morrison has to do, that be able to tell the players when the ball is in the air like that, you automatically signal for a fair catch, and then automatically will stop the Warren Central or any team from having an opportunity to try to just run in and grab the football.
Well, the Tigers have good field position again as they start at the 40-yard line, but now Moss Point is down 22-0. And John Armstead must lead the Tigers to the end zone against a team that hasn't given up any points now in 3.5 games. This is a monumental task. First down, and they hand off to Robbins, and Robbins cuts it back across the middle of the field. Robbins gets to the 47, picks up 7. It's second down and 3.
And you know, in the drive, when the Tigers got to the 2-yard line in the first half, Brad, the play that they ran the most was the old pitch sweep. They just lined Hunter up in the deep eye, and they haven't gone back to that play at all tonight. You don't need anything quick to get back in the ball game. It's still 8 minutes plus to go in the third quarter. The Tigers just need a sustained drive, 4 or 5 minute drive, and get a touchdown.
Abram left, and Jones to the near side on 2nd and 3. Split back set. Armstead with the handoff to Hunter with a hole. 45, 40, 35, 30. Spins out of a tackle to 25. And Nico Hunter gets down to the 22-yard line. A gain of 31 and a first down.
That's the play we talked about earlier. If you ever busted in the secondary from the offensive line, if you catch them with the stunt and they're stunting, if you block the stunt, then you automatically have a gaping hole. The only thing you have to do is beat the safety. And Nico Hunter beat the, for all practical purposes, he beat the safety because he got 7 extra yards after initial contact.
First and 10 Tigers, the ball just inside the 23-yard line. Now Moss Point goes I formation. And the pitch is to Hunter. Hunter right up the middle. Darden will make the tackle, but not until Hunter gets to about the 18-yard line. It's a gain of 4. It's 2nd and 6.
Just come out and good play, good smash my football. Block at the point of attack and run it back, run hard. That's what you need to do.
7:20 and counting, third quarter, 22-0. Warren Central leads the Moss Point Tigers in the South State Championship game. As we get a replay here on Salmon's Cable Channel 13 of the run right up the middle by Miko Hunter. He busted through, broke the tackle, and got down to the 23. Handoff is to Robbins, and Robbins fights his way down to the 15-yard line. He's 2 yards short of a first down.
Well, there's no doubt about you in first down territory, or four down territory now, because field goals won't catch you up right now. You have to go ahead and get this first down, and I think that the Tigers are going to score some points right now. They are set to go right now.
6:35 and counting, 3rd and 2 from the 15-yard line of Warren Central.
And some Miko Hunters came out the ball game, and he's hurt. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Holding his left hip. Handoff is to O'Neal Carter, and Carter fights for and gets the first down on a 4-yard gain.
Well, that's the advantage you have, is when you can bring O'Neal Carter in for Miko Hunter. Now, evidently, he's bleeding or something, because I see he put a towel to his nose.
Yeah, must have gotten a nosebleed.
Yes. But that's the advantage of when you can go and you play a lot of people during the course of the years, that you can reach down into that bench and grab somebody. And where Moss Point is, they can't get a first down without scoring. They can get to about the 2-yard line without scoring and get a first down.
Michael Watson. That would be my call on first down.
Scooter Robbins off right tackle.
Pitches to Carter. Carter 10. Carter 5. Touchdown Tigers on the 12-yard run by O'Neal Carter. And you see Herman Robbins on the sideline firing up the Tigers.
Big touchdown, O'Neal Carter. First one in a long time against this Warren Central defense. Now what becomes important now is Moss Point was going to go for the 2-point conversion right now. And this is those scatter play that you're going to see them try to run. And if they can just set this up real quick, it's going to be great.
Tigers go for 2. Snap to Armstead. Armstead makes a cut. Armstead is it for two. The Tigers have cut it to 22-8. And the Tiger fans come to their feet for the first time since the beginning of this game. 5:46 to go in the third. The Tigers have finally scored. Moss Point now trails 22-8. And listen to the Tiger crowd.
And Brad, that play it was only about a 3-minute drive. That tells you the explosibility of the Moss Point Tigers offense. Now what we need is a big defensive play. The defense must get in and hold Warren Central this time. Make them turn the football over. You have that fire. You have the spark.
For the first time in almost 4 games, Warren Central has given up points. That's an amazing statistic. The crowd stomps his feet. Minster Minor is back deep for Warren Central, awaiting the Melvin Rowland boot. And Rowland puts his toe into it. He kicks it to the 12-yard line. And it is returned out to the 35-yard line by Marcus Thomas. Good return by number 27.
Well, I tell you, Melvin Rowland had that big paw stuck in, and I thought certainly Melvin was going to snatch that ball out then, but that's what happened when you don't get that ball real high. The teams normally get good returns, but the 35-yard line of Warren Central is still not the greatest position. The Tiger defense needs a big play.
Hey, what second effort by John Armstead on that 2-point conversion, because they had him at the 5-yard line, but he showed determination to get it in to the end zone for 2. 1st and 10 for Morgan and Warren Central from the 35. And the handoff is to Darden coming near side. Darden is hit by one man and finally tackled at the 38-yard line. Penalty flags come down. Tyrone Barnes and Darrell Hanford were there to make the tackle. We'll see what the penalty was.
And Kareem Mitchell is down at hyperextended knee. You can see him grab it, but that was a good defensive play by the Morris Point defensive tackle on that play.
Holding against Warren Central, which will send Warren Central back. And Kareem Mitchell is carried off the field right in front of us. And Mike Crowley is there. We'll get a report as soon as we can.
Well, that's that hyperextended knee, and I'm trying to see what that is. That was Melvin Rowland.
Who's also hurt.
Well, he was sitting next to him. I didn't know if Melvin was hurt or what, the way he was laid out. I think he was just stretched down. So, big play. Now, the Tigers' defense now needs to capitalize on that penalty with this first and about 16 or 17.
1st and 17. Ball is at 28-yard line. We're at the 5:10 mark in the third quarter. Tigers down by 2 scores, 22-8. The crowd is into the game. The pitch is to Darden going right. Darden is stood up and thrown down. Back to the 25-yard line by Darrell Hanford. It's a loss of 3.
Every time those 2 sophomore defensive ends have been in this ball game, something big has happened from them. They're going to make some mistakes, but I tell you, they stay at home and they have the quickness is their probably the best forte that they have is that their quickness and that they stay in position.
Kareem Mitchell is off the bench. He's walking. He wants to get back in the game. I don't know if the coaches will let him in right away. 2nd down and long. 2nd and 20 from the 25. Morgan will drop back to pass. Morgan has time and he's throwing long. And there is Datron Williams. And also there was Thad Bridges, and it was Bridges who knocked away an interception from Datron Williams.
But what happened on that play, instead of being in a bump and run situation, the defensive cornerbacks of the Morris Point Tigers got off the receivers about 10 yards. And they made them have to beat them long, so they had that extra 2 or 3 yard cushion, and Datron Williams was in perfect position.
4:16 in the third quarter. Moss Point down by 14. But if a momentum shift has taken place here, it would be to the Moss Point Tigers side of the football field.
This is one of the biggest plays of this ball game right here.
It's 3rd and 20. Split back set for the first time tonight for Warren Central. And back to pass is Morgan. And Morgan is looking for his running back, Darden, out of the backfield. The pass is incomplete. Well covered on the play by Shumpert Hulbert. And it brings up a 4th down.
And what's important about that, Brad, is that the 2 passes stop the clock. This is still the third quarter, but you give a lot of credit to the Morris Point defense football team then, is that they came in and made some good plays. I wouldn't be surprised to see a block punt right about now.
Moss Point has 10 men on the line of scrimmage, and Houston Cunningham is the only deep back for the Tigers. Smith gets away, and it's a good kick. Back to the 31-yard line, and it's Cunningham by himself. Cunningham looking for room to run. He's brought down at the 36, but the Tigers have the ball. First and 10 with momentum on their side.
Good play, and I tell you, last time that offensive set, the big run by Reginald Hunter was the one that really got the Tigers going, and I'm trying to see if Reginald is back in the football game right now, but I definitely see O'Neal Carter in the ball game. And
Hunter's on the sideline at the 40-yard line, but he's got the helmet on, and he is itching to get back in. Carter and Robbins are the backs. Abram and Barnes the receivers. First and 10 Tigers. Split back set.
Look for the tight end now.
They go to Carter on first down. Carter with some speed. 35-40. Carter out to the 44-yard line. A gain of 7 yards.
And Brad, I even see a little more fire on the offense now that they're not just becoming sightseers. When they're not in there, they are really turning it up, blocking downfield.
Second down and a short 3 yards. The ball at the 44. The yard to make the 47.
And that's the play that they ran with Reginald Hunter to get to the 2-yard line earlier.
Armstrong in at tight end. Pitches to Carter, coming near side. This time, Warren Central was ready for it, and Carter lost a yard.
Well, you know, you can go to the well a little bit too often, and eventually it's going to get stopped. But that's going to bring up again Reginald Hunter. I'm looking for him to come in the game and get the ball on that dive play right on the right tackle like he did the big play in the last drive.
Miko is back in along with Melvin Jones, Andre Abram, third down, and the board says 3. It's almost 4. 2:35 and counting. Split back set. Hand off to Hunter. First down and more. 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown. Tigers are within 7 if they get the extra point. Miko Hunter with 57 yards. Untouched to the end zone. Just as you call.
Brad, that's the same play that he busted on earlier. And that's what's been open all night. We talked about that at the beginning of this ball game, is that they are giving the Morris Point Tigers that play. Once you get in the secondary, you only have to beat the safety.
And the Tigers will go for 2 again at the 2:22 mark of the third. A 2-point make here makes it a 6-point game. Armstead, he's going to run the option. No, he's going to throw. He's got Watson. It's incomplete. A penalty flag is down in the back of the end zone.
And when it comes normally from the back judge, it's something against the defense.
It's against Moss Point and an eligible man downfield. 2:22 to go, and the Tigers now must make a touch and a 2-point conversion. Down 22-14, but listen to the Tiger crowd.
Well, I believe most of the fans would have liked to see the extra point, because had it been the extra point, then the Tigers would have just been a touchdown and 1 point away.
Obviously, Jerry Alexander decided let's play for the win.
That's right. Roll the dice and go.
Momentum has definitely shifted.
And what Jerry Alexander is trying to get right now, he's trying to get an explanation. That it came from an eligible man downfield, but all of the Morris Point offensive line were lined up to the left side. There was nobody in there but just the center. Nobody, and the center really was eligible because the flanker was to the right side.
But still, Watson dropped the pass, so it didn't matter.
Yes.
Melvin Jones puts a huge foot into this one, and the ball goes 9 yards into the end zone in the air. And so the Moss Point Tiger defense comes out now with the Tigers trailing 22-14 in the South State Championship.
Whether you smell momentum turning, Brad, whole field is starting to come into play. The defense again. If the defense makes a big play, Morris Point will walk away with a victory tonight because the offense has finally turned it on. They are showing Warren Center they can be scored on. And you see how easy Morris Point scored on them. Once you score on a team one time that hadn't been scored on, then they automatically get down.
First and 10, Warren Central from the 20. Handoff on first down to Smith, and Smith is stood up and thrown down for no gain. Tyrone Barnes was there along with Donzel Bolton.
And the main man on that play up the middle was 76, Ryan Bell, the nose tackle. Ryan Bell stuffed that play at the line of scrimmage, He didn't make the tackle, but he took on the guard in the center, and he just stopped all the blockers, all the momentum of the blockers.
It's 2nd down and 9. The officials gave Smith 1 yard. 1:50 and counting, third quarter, and the Tigers are down 22-14, and the crowd is in this game. On their feet in front of us. I formation set. Back to pass the quarterback. He fires. A penalty flag comes down as Prentice makes the catch at the 40-yard line.
You have illegal procedure on Brian Darton. He's left real early.
It is a penalty against Warren Central, and so now the Warren Central Vikings start to commit some mistakes, and the Tigers sideline is alive.
It became alive, and it's been explosive since the Miko Hunter big run. Because I tell you, people got down at 22. And I even saw a couple people get the little seats and walk out. But I guess they're going to get out there to the parking lot to listen to WZZJ, and I guess they're going to come back in. But they'll have to buy another ticket.
Let them in.
They have to buy another ticket. Don't let them go. We don't need them here.
2nd down and a long 14 for Morgan. Morgan will run a reverse, and it was almost dropped.
Hold him.
Holding penalty will come down as the receiver gets out to the 28-yard line on the reverse. That was James Williams, but 2 flags back at the 12, and we all saw the hold there.
That was on number 60, Eric Neal. Big number 60 just tackled Todd Davis on the defensive end on this end.
And again, the penalty will march Warren Central further back. They'll be at the 6-yard line. Not everybody in front of us is standing.
I mean, that was Donzel Bolton, the defensive end, that was tackled by Eric Neal, number 60. It's going to be half the distance to the goal line, Brad, but it's getting closer and closer to become a field position football game.
So now it's 2nd down and 23 yards to go. The ball is back at the 7-yard line. You're looking at the clock if you're watching on Salmon's Cable Channel 13. 1:18 to go. The Tigers down 22-14.
Looking for that safety in return, Warren Central.
2nd and 23. The pitch to Darden going right. Darden tries to get to the outside. Holbert chases him, and Holbert throws him out of bounds at the 15-yard line. A gain of 7, and it brings up 3rd and 16.
And I can tell you, Jerry Alexander, Luther Kirkendall were not very happy then because he got around the end, and he immediately sent number 95, Darrell Hanford, the sophomore defensive end, into the ball game.
But maybe happy by the fact that the clock stopped with 1:10 to go in the 3rd.
Well, he's not happy any time that they get around that end because they know that's what Darton's going to do. And that's the reason that they set those defensive ends in. And there's obvious throwing situation now, so the Tigers really need to put a lot of pressure on him, but watch the screen to Darton.
Williams and Prentice, the receivers, on 3rd and 16. And they're going to run the ball. They fake the reverse, and it's Darton who keeps it 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. One man to beat, and it's Houston Cunningham who makes the tackle at the 41-yard line.
Well, they just got totally fooled on that play, and that was exactly what you needed. You had momentum on your side. You had Darton stopping just 2-3 missed tackles, and he just exploded.
45-yard run by Brian Darton. You talk about a momentum shift in this football game. That was it. It's 1st and 10. It's a 41 of Moss Point, and Ryan Bell and Houston Cunningham both limp off the football field. Darton also checks out of the game.
Well, Boston had a ball player to come off injured, and the officials did not recognize that, and the Tigers had to burn a timeout, but Jerry Alexander is going to try to talk to them about that. They had an injury timeout.
Tigers burn a timeout here at the 58-second mark of the 3rd quarter. It's 22-14. And just when it looked like Moss Point on a 3rd and 16 was going to stop Warren Central, it looked like they had Brian Darton pinned up on the right side of his offensive line. Darton faked the reverse, found a crease, and was able to get down the right sideline to the 41 of Moss Point.
Well, I don't think Jerry's going to win this little discussion. He was trying to get the officials' attention and let him know that they had an injured player on the field, and he was trying to get him off, which should have been just an injury timeout. But that timeout may come back to hunt the Tigers.
Moss Point needs a stop.
Big stop now.
And just for the moment, the crowd in front of us seated and quiet. Let's go down to Mike Crowley on the sideline. Mike?
Brad and Jackie, Coach Alexander kind of upset because he felt like that he should not have been a charged timeout. He felt like Houston Cunningham was down and they should have called an official timeout. Back to action.
Thanks, Mike. First and 10 run by the fullback, Kerry Williams. And Williams carries it to the 36. He gets 5 at 2nd and 5.
I think the Tigers should have recognized right away that Dorton was on the sideline. If he was on the sideline, you don't expect anyone to get the ball but the fullback.
And now the officials stop the clock for a minute as Tyrone Barnes adjusts his helmet strap. 2nd down 5. 35 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Handoff up the middle to Darden. Darden inside the 30. Tackled by Tyrone Barnes, but not until he gets to the 27. And picks up a 1st down on a 9-yard gain.
And Brandon Long just missed him in the backfield. They had the perfect defense going against him, and Brian Darton just ran out of. I tell you, he does not get hit by one person and stop, but he's a little slow getting up, and they're going to have to take him out the ball game.
27-second mark. Darden is helped to the sidelines by the trainers. 1st and 10 for Warren Central in the final 20 seconds of the 3rd quarter. Handoff is to the 2nd back through, and he may score. 10 down to the 5-yard line goes Mincer Minor. 22 yards for the man who just replaced Darden.
Well, they just busting the ball right up the middle right now against the Tigers defense, and the Tigers are, I guess they went to sleep a little bit when Darden went out this ball game.
1st and goal to goal from the 5-yard line. And that is the end of the 3rd quarter of play. An exciting 3rd quarter to say the least, but it's Warren Central knocking on the door again. After 3, Warren Central leads Moss Point 22-14. This is Tiger Football 94 on Salmon's Cable Channel 13 and AM 1580 WZZJ.
Right.
Brad Chessie, Jackie Ellie back at Dantzler Stadium for the 4th quarter of the South State Championship. 1st and goal, Warren Central from the 5, full house backfield. Darden tries the middle. Darden is stacked up after he got 1. It's 2nd and goal from the 4.
Good defensive pressure. Carlos Ware in the middle of all of that power just to stop that surge by Brian Darden. This could be a big stop for the Tigers now, especially if they could try to hold them to at least a field goal attempt. That would be a momentum builder again, but the touchdown definitely it would be detrimental to the Tigers' hopes of winning this ball game, even though you still have a full quarter to go.
Again, the key play of this football game, we may look back at it, was the 3rd down 16 when Darden broke for 45. Full house, backfield again. 2nd down, goal from the 4. Pitch to Darden. He tries the far side corner, and Darden is tripped up and taken down at the 3. Penalty flag also comes down.
Has to be a hold call because I don't know who it was out there for the Tigers, but you can see.
Face mask.
Well, they missed that holding call then because somebody for the Tigers was being held by the back of the jersey. You couldn't see it. I want you to get a replay of that, Clarence.
James Vance, the official, signals face mask penalty against Moss Point.
Well, I think it was Donzel Boatnot on the defensive end. I think he was held on the play. It appeared that there was a hand right in his back, grabbing the back of his jersey. I was hoping we can get a replay on it just to see. Maybe the old eyes may have deceived me.
Ball at the 2-yard line. It's still second down. Chauncey Johnson checks into the game.
Well, he's coming in for Creevy Hornets. The clock is running, and they're trying to get a hurt ball player off the field. I'm thinking if I'm Jerry Alexander, I'm asking for those 10 seconds or so back on the clock.
Second down, goal again. Again, it's Darden, and Darden puts his head down, and he gets in. 10:48 left in the game, and Brian Darden has scored again. For Darden, it's touchdown number 2.
Well, the Tigers have fallen down by 2 touchdowns again, but they've come back from 3 down to get close. So this game is a long way from over still if the Tigers just come back offensively. And we have another player, well, that's Kareem Mitchell coming off again. I tell you, it looks like the hospital ward the way the Tigers are coming off night. But that's Kareem Mitchell. When you play with a hyperextended knee, it's easy for that knee to keep going out on you.
And now with it 28-14, Warren Central will try for the points. And it's Summerall, number 1. 10:47 to go in the game.
Need a block. Bad snap block.
This time the kick is up, and it is good. 10:47 to go in the fourth. And it's 29-14.
It's going to be very important again for the Tigers, Melvin Jones and Houston Cunningham, to get this ball and give the Tigers some good field position, run the ball back. However, we don't really expect Warren Central to kick the ball deep. But I hope that the Tigers are alert now. They have a lot of younger players that's playing the front 5, and they have to be very alert to know that if the ball is short, they automatically stick the hand up and call for a fair catch if it's a high kick.
The Tigers here must look at this game now as a 3-possession game. The Tigers must score in both their possessions, and Warren Central must be held the one time they get it. At this point, I guess you play just a tie.
Yeah, you play for you play to try to tie the ball game now and take the chances in overtime because, well, Marshall has somewhat slowed Darden down just as times that Warren Central has slowed Reginald Hunter and Offense down to the Tigers.
There's Summerall's kick, and this time he puts a leg into it, and Bailey's going to take it from the 5. JB's at the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. JB to the outside, 40. 45-yard line, up to the 49, the 50-yard line. Jonathan Bailey, but a penalty flag is sitting at the 45.
Yes, and there was no need to happen if it's what I thought happened. We shall see what James Vance calls, and it is holding against the Morris Point Tigers.
Push the Tigers back to the 35-yard line, and it'll be 1st and 10 there.
The Tigers would have started this possession at their own 50-yard line instead. They're going to lose. What many is that, Brad? 15 yards.
15 yards.
15 yards.
First and 10, clock running, 10:35 to go in the game. Tigers must score a touchdown here. And they send 2 receivers to the right in the split back set. Jones comes in motion right to left. Pitch to Robbins. Robbins has some running room, 35-40. Robbins tries the outside. He's to the 44. It's a gain of 9.
Over 10 minutes to go, Brad. Tigers don't need to slow around. They need to speed it up a little bit, but they definitely need to score something. And I can see Brandon Long talking to his defense on the sideline, trying to get them juiced up so when we get back in there, we've got to make a stop, defense.
9:55, 29-14. You hear the Warren Central band on the far side of the field. You're reminded of the Moss Point Tiger band, not here because they're, I guess, in Washington, D.C. now after yesterday's performance in the Philadelphia Thanksgiving Day Parade. Hunter, big hole. Hunter to the 45. First down on the 11-yard carry.
Well, I imagine Reginald Hunter has gotten his 100 yards for the night just as Brian Darden has gotten his. But the Tigers still, they're moving. Every time you get a first down, don't forget the clock does stop until the chains are set. So the Tigers need to speed it up just a little bit in order to preserve as much time as possible.
Unofficially, Hunter 145 yards rushing tonight. 1st and 10 Tigers. Armstead with the handoff to Hunter. He tries the middle again, and this time it's clogged. He got 1, 2nd down.
Brad, just before the half, the Tigers came out and they started throwing the ball, a couple of short patterns to Andre Abrams and to Melvin Jones, and they got huge yardage. It may not be a bad move in order to try to do it now, because the Warren Central defense now is starting to look for Hunter inside. No, that doesn't mean they're going to stop him, but it just means that you have some people now that can probably, from the outside, make the play, because they're going to one-on-one now.
Split back, 2nd and 9. Pitches to Carter. Carter 35, 30. 1st down. O'Neal Carter on the 13-yard run. He's running with vengeance tonight.
I tell you, since O'Neal went out the game early and came back in, he's running the football powerful. I tell you, Morris Point has 3 good running backs, so you can't take anything from all. You don't really lose a lot when you substitute those 3 young men, and they give it everything. They're blocking good for each other and running hard.
29-yard line. 1st and 10 Moss Point at the 8:25 mark of the 4th quarter. Armstead on 1st down. He pitches to Carter. Carter tries the near side, and Carter was hit and brought down. Kerry Williams, the fullback, makes the tackle after a 1-yard gain.
Well, I believe Reginald Hunter's getting ready to bring the play back into the ball game. The clock is steady moving. That's the only advantage when you try to catch up from running the football, is that the clock keeps going.
It'll be 2nd down and 9.
They're almost to set up that little toss pass that we saw a couple of weeks ago. Pitch it to Reginald Hunter and let him throw the football.
Split back, 2 receivers left. Handoff is to Hunter. Again, he tried the middle, and again it was closed in a hurry. Eric Payne made the tackle. No gain, 3rd down.
Play action would have been ideal on that. You know that Warren Central is playing the run first.
7:25 and counting in the 4th. Tigers down 15. 2 timeouts left for Moss Point.
Mario Armstrong's in at tight end, and he's open across the middle.
I formation, Tigers will run. Hunter gets to the outside. Hunter is at the 20, fights for and gets a 1st down as he crosses the 18-yard line.
And Reginald Hunter could have gone out of bounds on that play, but instead he knew he was a yard or 2 short for the 1st down. He put his head down and he just lowered it to boom.
10-yard gain for Hunter and a 1st down at the 7:05 mark. The officials say he did get out of bounds, so the clock stopped, and he got the 1st down.
Well, that's good.
Split back set. Jones is right. Andre Abram is to the left. And the handoff is to Hunter. Hunter looks for running room. Hunter to the 15, fights down to the 12-yard line. Give him 5, 2nd and 5.
Okay, this is a different Morris Point Tiger football team, especially from the offensive side of the football that's come out here in the 2nd half, even though they did move the ball decent in the 1st half. But they have come out the 2nd half, and other than the 1st possession when they did not score anything, they have really just moved the ball down the field.
6:37 and counting, 2nd and 5. It's Hunter again. Hunter, 10, 5, touchdown, Reginald Hunter. 12 yards and in, and the Tigers still have life with 6:29 to go.
Well, the Tigers will definitely go for 1, I think, on this to try to put this ball game into a 7-point ball game.
No, they'll go for 2, which is what I think you meant to say. You said 1.
No, I thought you go for 1 to make it 20. Oh, it's 29-20. I'm sorry.
They run the weird formation again. Robbins is the back. They look to throw. They throw. It is good. Michael Watson caught the pass in the back of the end zone. Moss Point within 7 with 6:29 remaining.
Pardon me, Brad. I didn't have my glasses on, and I couldn't see the score. It was 29-20 instead of 28-20. The Tigers have come back in the 2nd half, and other than that 3rd down and 16 yards, that big 45-yard from Brian Dorton, Morris Point Tigers this game would be tied up right now. But it's still time to go in this ball game. 6 minutes, 29 seconds to go. The Tigers defense definitely need to stop it on this series of downs.
To this point in the game, Reginald Hunter has 173 yards on the ground.
Warren Central is looking for the onside kick, but I think it's too early for the Tigers to do that.
6:29 remaining. Tigers down by a touch. Rowland will put it deep. And into the end zone again. 5 yards deep this time. Tigers defense must come through. It's 29-22, and it's 1st and 10 Warren Central.
If we're going to Jackson next week, we need a defensive stop now.
And
go ahead, Brad.
Once again, the crowd comes to its feet.
Well, I tell you, there has not been any quit in this team tonight. No matter the outcome of this game right now, we must commend the Morris Point Tigers, the coaching staff, and everyone for not giving up, falling down 22-0. They have stayed in this ball game.
1st and 10 for Morgan. He's got Darden as deep back, and the handoff is to the fullback on 1st down. And the fullback gets to the 24. It's 2nd and 6. That was Kerry Williams.
And it appears that you see, that's how most teams do. They set you up early with the running to Brian Darton, and then to try to kill the clock, they just try to hand the ball off to the up back to try to run the clock and try to get 3-4 yards of crack.
2nd down, 6 from the 24. Now Warren Central will try to run clock. Halfway through the 4th quarter of the South State Championship. What a game. 29-22, Warren Central leads. Morgan on 2nd down. He'll hand off to Darden. Darden was hit, and Darden fights forward to the 27. Gain of 3, 3rd and 3.
And they had him in the backfield. Shufford Hobart had him in the backfield, and he just got away. They're going to have to just pin it now. This is a big defensive play. Now, we say that so many times in this ball game, but this is one of those key defensive plays.
The thing about the Moss Point offense is it's scoring on the ground, but the Tigers may not have much time left to do that, and they've only thrown one pass in the 2nd half. Fans on their feet. 3rd down and 3 in the I formation. Morgan will go to Darden, I bet. The pitch to Darden. Darden looking for the 1st down, and he will get it. Hit by Tyrone Barnes and Darrell Hanford, but he got to the 30, and that's the 1st down.
I'm telling you, he did not get it by too much at all. And again, Shufford Hobart had an opportunity to hit him in the backfield, but Darden, with that quick step, I mean, they barely got the ball. It's just across the 30-yard line.
1st and 10. We're under 5 minutes in the 4th quarter. Moss Point down 29-22. And the defense must stop the Vikings on the next 3 plays.
First turnover tonight coming up.
They hand off to the fullback, and the fullback can't find much running room. He'll get 1. It'll be 2nd and 9.
And Brad, I think if the Tigers stop them big on this next play, I think you start seeing the Tigers start calling timeouts.
They only have 2 left. They had to use 1 on that when Houston Cunningham came out when he got injured.
And I certainly hope that doesn't come back to play in this ball game.
4:20 and counting. 2nd down 9. They hand off, they run the option, and Darden has a lot of running room. Darden at midfield and goes out of bounds at the 45-yard line. First time tonight we saw the option, and it's good for a gain of 23.
And I tell you, the defensive end again on that side, which has been happening all night for the Tigers, just got caught to the inside again. And I saw something that I truly love in a young ball player. Brandon Long playing in the defensive tackle, recognized there was an option, and Brandon Long was all the way to the 40-yard line chasing the play. No quit in that young man.
Warren Central 1st and 10 from the 45. And again, they go the fullback on 1st down, and this time Williams has room to the 25-yard line. He picked up 20. You can't trade touchdowns. You got to stop them.
That's right, and now Warren Central is in a position now almost in field goal range, and the young man Summerall has kicked 6 out of 12 this year. I don't know what his longest is, but that's what they're trying to play for. Run some clock, try to get a field goal. Clock steady running, 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go.
First and 10, 25-yard line. Again, it's Williams. This time, Kareem Mitchell stacks him up. No gain. Second down and 10. In the game for Darden, 156 yards rushing.
Well, Warren Central, since the Tigers have scored, they've come and used over 3 minutes off of that clock. Had the Tigers been able to stop them, they could have had about 5 minutes to go in order to 5 minutes to come back in this ball game.
It's second and 10 from the 25-yard line. The trend in this drive has been fullback first down, go wide with Darden on second. 3:05 to go. And they run the option. And this time the Tigers are waiting for the option. Datron Williams the tackle on the 1-yard gain. And Moss Point may want to think about burning a timeout.
Yeah, I thought that certainly they would call a timeout on that play, but nobody seems to be signaling a timeout. And Warren Central is taking their time. Brett, I tell you that last offensive series in the first half of Morris Point for the Warren Central, where they scored the touchdown very late. That right now is really haunting the Morris Point Tigers.
Third down.
We're gonna get it out
at the 25 with 2:25 to go in the game. Morgan under center. Morgan will throw the ball. He rolls. He fires across the middle. It's complete to Prentice at the 10. He spins away from a tackler. And Prentice is thrown down at the 10-yard line. And that is a first down on a 15-yard gain. And Warren Central is playing like a team that wants to play in Jackson on Saturday.
Well, tell you, it's very admirable to watch them. They did not try to kill the clock by just running the football and running it. They threw the ball for the first down. They threw for the win.
First and 10, the ball is just outside the 10-yard line, and there are 2 minutes remaining in this football game. The Tigers have 2 timeouts remaining. Full house backfield for Morgan. Pitch to Darden. Darden fights to the 10-yard line, and the Tigers would be smart to use a timeout here, but they're not going to at the 1:40 mark. Second and 10.
Well, since you only have 2 timeouts left, what they want to try to do is try to stop it after the second and third down play.
This snap will come with under 1:10 remaining in the game. Substitutions for Warren Central, who threw on 3rd and 10, and Prentice made the reception. We're at 1:15. Tigers down by 7. Warren Central at the 10. Handoff to Williams, the fullback. And now the Tigers will take a timeout as Williams gets to the 8-yard line. 1:02 to go, and Moss Point stops the clock. It's 3rd and 8.
With 1 minute and 2, 3rd and 8, the Tigers definitely need a big break somewhere. Need a fumble. One of those scat back defensive backs pick it up and run it all the way back for a touchdown.
What an unbelievable game this has been. What an unbelievable season this has been for the Moss Point Tigers. 11-2 coming into tonight's football game, losing their home opener and season opener against Greenwood, and losing one other game during the year, 9-7 to Gulfport. But they avenged that loss with a win last week at Milner Stadium to qualify for the South State Championship here tonight. And the Tigers were down in this football game 22-0 here in the 3rd quarter, but the Tigers fought back to make it 22-14. Gave up another touchdown to Warren Central. It was 29-14, but the Tigers growled right back and got a touchdown by Miko Hunter to make it 29-22 after the 2-point conversion. But the defense just has not been able to contain Warren Central consistently through this football game. Warren Central always coming through with big plays. And here's a 3rd and 8, and the handoff to Darden, who tries the outside, cuts it back in, and Darden backs into the end zone. And Warren Central is going to the state championship game. The touchdown run is 8 yards by Brian Darden, who backed in the final 3. And the Tiger defense laying on the ground, wondering, oh, how close we came.
Had 5 Tigers laying on the field. I tell you, the Tiger defense, which you really expected to be able to put a stop to them on that particular play, that series of downs just couldn't do it. And more importantly, they used up almost 6 minutes of the 5 minutes and 30 seconds off the clock.
Summerall on to try the point. The snap good, and so is the kick. 56 seconds remain in the game. They ran 5.5 minutes off the clock.
Well, barring a miracle, the Tigers won't get an opportunity to play for the state championship next week in Jackson. And I tell you, Brad, it's been a good season for us, though, because Tigers have come through a lot of adversity this year. We can't see some of it caused by us, some maybe caused by them or whatever. I don't say who. It's just that they never quit, though. They kept coming back, and that you have to commend Jerry Alexander and his staff for never quitting during this season. And even at halftime, being down as they were 22-0 and still come back in the second half, 15-0, but coming back in the second half and really making a ball game out of it really into this last drive.
That extra point was good, right? Because the board only has 35. I think it was good.
Well, I thought I saw the official go up with it. Yeah. Well, I think it's almost academic anyway.
Tigers down by 2 scores with 56 seconds remaining, and you can guarantee that David Smith is not going to be kicking the football to Melvin Jones. And Brian Darden is in the game as well here. Well, sometimes you guarantee things, they don't come through. Jones from the 6. Jones, the speedy Tiger receiver, gets out to the 28. And so with 51 seconds remaining, the Tigers must go 72 yards in less than 50 seconds to have any chance.
And that's not just 52 seconds. That's you have to go more. You might as well say, Brad, you have got to go 140 yards in 52 seconds and 2 possessions, and it's almost impossible to get that.
It has been a terrific football game, but in the end, I think you and I are both going to agree the offense of Warren Central was just too much for Moss Point to contain tonight.
That's right.
Armstead on first down. They're going to try the reverse, and then they're going to throw the ball. Abram fires it, and it's intercepted, and that's how this football season will come to an end. And it was Brian Darden, number 3. Who else to pick off the pass at the Warren Central 43-yard line? And the 1994 football season is over on that flea flicker play and the interception by Andre Abram. But, Jackie, you said it. It was a tremendous football season for Moss Point.
Oh, yeah, the Tigers they don't need to hold their heads down. It's a good football team. And now we start looking at next year already. I mean, what else can you say? You have a lot of sophomores and juniors that have played extensively during this season. And the Tigers have a lot to build on next year. They can come back next year and make another run for the state championship.
The nucleus of the defense will be back, and the quarterback, John Armstead, will be back as well, leading a couple of new running backs toward what we hope will be a state championship in 1995, but it won't happen in 1994. Your final score tonight in the South State Championship game is the final 3 seconds ticked off the clock. The Vikings of Warren Central 35 and Moss Point 22. The Vikings at 13-1 will be playing for the state championship next Saturday against either Provine or Clarksdale. We'll wrap up this exciting South State Championship game as well as the 1994 football season after this timeout. This is Tiger Football 94 on Salmon's Cable Channel 13 and AM 1580 WZ. And the Tigers were down 2-0 on the ensuing free kick. 3 plays, 58 yards. Warren Central went. They got a 1-yard run by Darden, and it was 9-0. The Tigers then missed a 20-yard field goal. They could have made it 9-3. They could have gone for a touchdown there and made it 9-7. Later, the Tigers gave up another touchdown. This one was a pass, 42 yards from the quarterback, who was number 10, Rob Morgan, and he hit Van Britches. It was 15-0. They missed the extra point, and again, the Tigers missed a 42-yard field goal at the end of the half. 15-0 at the half. Tigers had the ball in great field position to start the third quarter, but did nothing with the football, and Warren Central marched it right down the Tigers' throats. 3 plays, 52 yards, ending with a touchdown from Morgan, this time to Prentice. It was 22-0. At that point, a lot of the fans probably thought this football season had come to an end, but the Tigers roared back first after a terrific run by Reginald Hunter and a 12-yard gallop by O'Neal Carter. It was 22-8 after a 2-point conversion. Tigers defense held 3 and out. Tigers got the ball back, and Reginald Hunter went 57 yards untouched. It was 22-14. And then the Tigers defense had Warren Central pinned 3rd down and 16 from the 14-yard line. But it was Brian Darden who went 45 yards down the right sideline for a first down. They ended up getting a touchdown to make it 29-14 with 10:47 to go in the game. Tigers did score again, 9 plays, 65 yards. With 6:22 to go, it was 29-22, and they had a chance. The defense just couldn't stop Warren Central, who marched 11 plays, 80 yards ate up more than 5 minutes on the clock, and they scored another touchdown. This one's Brian Darden, who went 8 yards for the score, backing in the final 3. Final score tonight to end the football season, 36-22, and Warren Central will play for the state championship in Class 5A next Saturday.
For Warren Central played like a team that should go to the state championship game because they played better overall than Morris Wayne did tonight. And that they played more consistent. They played closer to 4 quarters than what the Morris Point Tigers. The Morris Point Tigers moved the ball good in the first half, as we said. 2 missed field goals and several opportunities that the Tigers had. And then a big play just before halftime when Bridges caught the 30, 40, or 40-yard touchdown fade route that really put a damper into the Morris Point Tigers championship hopes.
Well, the Tigers don't have to say what if because they played a tremendous second half and we're back in the football game. And it was just Warren Central's offense being so good and so in sync with what it wanted to do. And when you got Brian Darden as a running back, he can create a lot of havoc for a defense.
Well, they executed when they had to. More importantly, they came up on a big third down plays again. Brian Darden, 3rd and 16, and you gained 45 yards on a little reverse type play, a little pitch. And things like that, you have to make those big plays in order to win the football game. Had he not made that, Morris Point had momentum on their side. Big Mo would have probably come back, and the Tigers would have, in all probability, I think, would have won the football game. But you can't go on what if. You have to go on what actually happened.
Darden rushed for 164 yards tonight. He was not the leading rusher in this football game. Miko Hunter rushed for 173 yards and 1 touchdown. And in his final game as a Moss Point Tiger, in his final 2 games as a Moss Point Tiger, Miko Hunter showed us the Miko Hunter we've watched for the last 3 years.
Yes, and to have after 7, 8 games only 500 yards and still end up with almost 1,200 yards on the ground, I tell you, he and Scooter Robbins will be very close to who led the team in rushing on this year. But the Tigers had a good run, and they had to come through some after losing to Greenwood, and we had some controversy about some things, and then we tried to amend that, and then they lost to Gulfport, came back and beat Gulfport. Now it's just a matter of the Tigers were not able to avenge this loss that they had last year in the second round of South State playoffs to Warren Central.
But the Tigers have a lot to be proud of this football season. They were the Region 4 champions, though they ended up in a tie, 3-way tie. They were the champions based on point differential. They did make it to the South State Championship game, which they have not been to since 1991. And the Tigers scored 22 points against a defense that hadn't given up any points in 3 consecutive football games.
And really should have scored more than that. As we said, 2 missed field goals, and especially the first one could have very easily been a touchdown had Morris Wayne been able to cash in on the on that third down play.
Final score again tonight was 36-22. Warren Central goes on to the state championship game. And they'll play either Clarksdale or Jackson Provine at Memorial Stadium on Saturday, December the 3rd, I guess, or December the 2nd, actually. So let's look ahead to 1995 for a minute. On offense, they bring back the quarterback, John Armstead. They lose some receivers. They lose their running backs, but they always have people that can step in and do the job.
Well, not only do you get John Armstead back next year, you also get Melvin Jones, you get Samson Cray, and you get Alexander Jackson at the offensive line. So you have some talent that's coming back there. You have Casey Smith, who's a sophomore running back, along with Sylvester Johnson, Geno Williams, and there may be possibility 2 names that we did not even call this year for reasons that they could not play is possibility even Chad Tate or Nicholas Wansley may be back next year for the Morris Point Tigers. So the Tigers always have talent brewing in the wings, and remember that the Ed Mayo Junior High football team was a district champion. You don't become district champ if you don't have some talent.
You're looking on the football field if you're watching us on Samus Cable Channel 13 at Miko Hunter. His tremendous career here at Moss Point is over, but he has nothing to be ashamed of. 173 yards rushing tonight, and he was the catalyst to help bring Moss Point back in a football game that they were oh so close to winning here in the South State Championship. On defense, the Tigers' defensive ends, sophomores, they got Tyrone Barnes coming back in the middle. They've got Kareem Mitchell. They've got Creevy Harness. The Tigers are always loaded on defense, and it could be even better next year.
And don't forget, J.B. Jonathan Bell is a junior. Houston Cunningham is a junior. DeJuan Wales, who played when David Williams was out, number 34, he was just a sophomore. So the Tigers have a load of talent coming back next year. I know this is not the way they wanted to end this inning, But now you have to build on next year. I know certain Jerry Alexander's staff are go and take a couple of days off and they'll relax, and then they'll start trying to put the package together for next year, because there aren't too many teams in this region who can say they've been in the playoffs 4 straight years and advanced to the playoffs past the first round, as the Tigers have. They got to the South State Finals, but they did get past the first round in each of Jerry Alexander's 4 years as the head coach.
All right, Clarence, let's wrap up the 1994 football season. The Tigers finishing 11-3, losing in the South State Championship tonight, 36-22 to one of the best teams in the nation, the Warren Central Vikings, ranked as high as, I think, number 20 this year in the USA Today poll. We want to thank so many people: Heinz Cronin, the superintendent of Moss Point Schools, and Dr. Will DePolk, the principal here at Moss Point High School, and of course the athletic director and head coach of Moss Point High, Jerry Alexander, and his coaching staff, the trainers for the job they did on the football field. I know the coaching staff appreciates the job they have done. Thank you to all of you, and thank you to everybody who has listened on AM 1580 WZZJ week in, week out, and who has watched us every Saturday morning at 11 on Salmon's Cable Channel 13. You know, we were debating before the football game, when would next week's game run when we played in the championship. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to find out when they were going to run next week's game, because we're not going to be there.
And I was so disappointed. I'm still disappointed, because I was going to be in Chicago next weekend, and I was going to miss the championship game. And of course, I guess I'm sad. And I'm sad because the season's over, Brad. We've had a good run again. We've had some very good football games that the Morris Point Tigers have played this year. We've just seen some good talent. It's going to be sad to see people like Miko Hunter, Joe Crawford, and those people leaving us, Ryan Bell, Brandon Long. We just wish all of those young men a lot of luck as they probably go on to college and pursue their careers. And hopefully there'll be a first-team All-American like Jack Jackson was named this past week. We didn't mention that, but hopefully that these guys, young men, will go on. And we wish them luck in their future, in their not only playing football, but in their endeavors as they get into the business world.
Our thanks to Kevin Grady and everyone at AM 1580 WZZJ for a third straight year of helping us out on the radio side. And, of course, Clarence DeBose and Candy Video Productions, and Tyrone is our photographer on the football field. Byron up top, Ouija, who every time we have a problem electronically, he somehow, some way comes through, even though everybody doubts him. Joni in the truck, I know you're not here tonight, but sweetheart, you have been great. And of course, Rita Johnson, week in, week out, coming up here and I guess yelling in our right ears would be the best way to do it. But she brought a lot of life